Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 200. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this virulent Sunday evening, Earth date March 15th, 2020. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock. With me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full-Saddle Brennan.
All right, Scarface.
Listen, say hello to my little Brandon.
Hello.
Whoa, I'm here, guys. Brandon.
And also joining us on this glorious 200th episode is Chad again. Hi, Chad.
How's it going, everybody?
Finer than a frog hair split four ways.
And we also have with us Bucky.
Hello.
Thanks for the awkward silence, guys.
Yeah, that awkward silence will get truncated out.
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be left in, though, for comedy.
For comedy.
Yes.
Full comedy. Hashtag full comedy.
Yes.
Yes, we have Bucky with us as well.
I'm here.
He's here. He has arrived.
Even though in the last episode, Chad said he killed me somehow, I'm here.
Well, I mean, everybody carries Phoenix down anymore.
Mhm.
Do they, though? I didn't. I just had some kryptonite in my pocket.
What is that? Kryptonite hasn't been known to resurrect.
Kryptonite does not have
you seen
restorative
Smallville?
properties.
Have you seen Smallville?
No.
It resurrected like at least 5 different sub-characters in that show.
Kryptonite did?
As of where I am right now, yes.
That's stupid.
I know.
Smallville's stupid. Why
Kryptonite
did
does
anybody like that
everything
show?
on Smallville.
Yeah. But they didn't have pink kryptonite then, so...
There's pink kryptonite?
You know what it does?
That also doesn't make sense.
Pink kryptonite turns Kryptonians gay.
What?
Yep. It is a thing. It is a real thing. It was introduced in like Supergirl, one of the newer Supergirl issues. It had a clip of Supergirl talking to Lois Lane in the panel. And then in the next panel, it was Superman flirting with Jimmy Olsen. It was the dumbest shit.
Are you sure you weren't just reading into it?
Are you sure you weren't reading a fanfic?
No, I'm not. Give me like 3 seconds. This is a panel from an actual Supergirl comic. I will send you the link to put in the show notes.
Pink kryptonite is a type of kryptonite that seemingly turns Kryptonians homosexual. It is unknown. Jesus. It is unknown what it would do to an already homosexual Kryptonian. This type of kryptonite only made one appearance in comics and was used as a satire of the plots of Silver Age comic stories featuring some strange new form of kryptonite. And the panel here up at the top, narrator, granted, every so often there's some genuine weirdness. Fortunately, I'm the only one who seems to pick up on the subtext. People yelling in the background, Supergirl is involved, and that's probably Lois?
Yeah.
Okay. You know Superman's been acting awfully strange since being exposed to that pink kryptonite. What do you think is wrong with him? Lois, you so don't want to know. Did I ever tell you how smashing you look in bow ties, Jimmy? By the way, that's a fabulous window treatment you've put together. Gee, thanks, I guess. Wow.
It's... Learn something new every day, huh?
I guess.
Progressive.
Well, I don't know if I'd call that learning or regret.
So,
a bit of both.
would you guys be okay if they turned Superman gay?
I mean, if he's always been gay, because gay isn't a choice, right?
No, it totally
Unless
is.
it's kryptonite, then it is a choice, but just not his choice. It's probably Lex Luthor's choice at that
Okay,
point.
so what if in the comics Superman is exposed to pink kryptonite and they make it an actual thing and not just a satirical thing?
Like for a long time?
And Superman turns gay, and it's like this.
For a decent chunk of time in the
Well, I
comics.
mean, we've got multiverses, so there's got to be a gay
There's a
Superman
black
in a
Superman.
multiverse, yeah.
Yeah, Val Zod.
Yeah, but this is like they sell it like the event like Death of Superman was.
So, wait.
The gay of Superman.
The Gang of Superman.
The Gaying
I feel
of
like
Superman.
we could workshop a way better title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We probably could, but I feel like they wouldn't risk that because of how a bunch of people would take it.
What do you mean?
I feel like there's a bunch of Superman fans who would...
Turn into a bunch of gay-bashing
Yeah,
homo haters.
probably.
Homo haters.
I'm just saying what they would be.
God.
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying what they'd be.
It's something that's already popped up in comics a bunch. I mean, there are established characters in, if you're just talking about the big two, DC and Marvel, there are characters who have been either homosexual or bisexual, and they've caught all kinds of flack on it, even though these characters may have been out since the 70s.
Yeah, for sure.
The one I can think of that I remember happening within the last 5 years or so, it was Wonder Woman. In the comic books, they said that Wonder Woman was bisexual.
Yeah.
And my mom, when we heard that on the radio, got all pissed off. And then I'm just like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, considering
She grew up on an island that was literally just women.
Yeah.
And didn't
Why
know what a
wouldn't
man
she
was
be?
until Steve Trevor showed up.
Right.
And wasn't there a blowback for Iceman too in Marvel whenever he came out?
I'm sure there was. I don't remember it specifically. I remember it was
that
a
one either.
it was kind of a big arc when we were in high school of Green Lantern. Kyle, what was it?
Rayner?
Kyle Rayner. Not him, but his buddy. He wasn't really a sidekick either. He didn't have any superpowers, but was a friend of his.
Yeah.
Came out to him, and it seemed like after that happened, like the next 10 comics in the series sort of went out of their way to hammer it home as deep as they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how in Supergirl, they had like a 4-episode arc about her adopted sister being gay.
Yeah.
A 4-episode arc on it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What was the story? Like,
Her
what was the arc?
discovering she was gay, 2 episodes attempting to come out to her mother, and then coming out to her mother, and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was, and they just drew it out.
So is Supergirl more like a teen drama than an actual superhero show?
No, I wouldn't say so.
No. I will say it is a lot better than it was,
Yeah. That it definitely.
especially this version of Lex Luthor. He's my second favorite Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
It's John Cryer,
Yeah.
the guy from 2.5 Men, and he's great.
He is.
Does he play like crazy Lex Luthor or more sinister Lex Luthor?
More sinister, for
Yeah.
sure.
There's a bit of crazy in there,
Yeah.
but it's more sinister and collected, not really calm, but he's collected in his thoughts,
Oh, okay.
and he plans everything
he
really well.
plays up the Lex Luthor mastermind. Like,
I will say,
4 steps ahead of everybody all the time.
yeah, I still love
Super genius
Michael
levels.
Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum is probably my favorite Lex Luthor, but John Cryer's second. He's great.
What about Kevin Spacey?
I kind of liked Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, even though that Superman movie
It was
sort of falls
I didn't like
flat.
it. I watched it for the first time recently, and I did not like Superman Returns. It felt like there was no coherent plot to any of it. It was just a thing with Superman, and then Lex Luthor was doing something completely different that had nothing to do with him, and then they showed up together.
Would it have been better if Superman were gay?
Probably wouldn't have affected it that much.
Hmm.
Are we? I'm still stuck on this pink kryptonite thing. I don't know what it is. We're at a point in our society where Superman could be gay now, right?
Yeah. If it was like, I feel like they would never make Earth 1, Earth Prime, whatever it is now, Rebirth Superman, the main Superman gay. I do not think they would for more than, a couple issues where pink kryptonite was a factor.
Yeah.
I feel like they could make, just because of the backlash they would get, I'm sure that they could get away with doing Earth 53, and that's the Superman of Earth, whatever is gay.
Is married to Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that they could totally do.
I feel like as long as it wasn't the main Superman, like Earth 1 Superman, it would be fine.
Yeah.
It wouldn't get backlash. Because there's an Asian Superman.
I know there's an Asian Hulk too.
Yeah, well,
Well, there's one that Remington's going to hate, so.
what?
What, Chad?
Is it a woman Superman?
I don't even know why I do this podcast anymore.
Is Brandon the only one who's allowed to point out your anti-Asian bias?
Or my seething hatred of women.
No, wait, I thought I was the one who hated women.
No, I'm surprised we got through the mention of Supergirl on the CW without you dropping some sort of bomb on it.
Oh, speaking of that, did you hear they're cutting this season of Supergirl short? They're cutting this season of Supergirl short.
Yeah, she got pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
She is
actress?
pregante.
Yep.
Melissa Benoist will be a MILF, and it will be glorious.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry if I'm highly attracted to her.
That got
I mean,
really
she's
weird.
super cute for
Yeah.
sure. It just got weird. That's all. Not saying.
Doesn't it always, though?
Yeah. Especially when you're involved.
Yeah.
What's her name? Melissa Magante?
No,
Melissa Benoist.
Oh, I mixed that with Pregante.
Yeah.
Okay.
She is pregante. Can you believe that she is pergert?
So they're
Have you never seen that video?
Yes.
no.
You haven't seen that video?
Oh
Nope.
my god. That's
Do we
good.
we need to show him this video?
Do we need to show him right now? We're in the middle of the
Yes.
show. Buddy.
No, we don't need to show me right now.
Okay.
Remember it for later.
Okay.
You won't.
I'm putting it in my notes.
Bucky's like, I'm a professional.
Look at me not having it up.
Giggity.
All right then.
So, Brandon, how the hell have you been?
I've been pretty good.
Good.
Still applying for jobs.
Good.
Spending a lot of time watching movies, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Mhm.
I know that you've kind of put yourself on this quest to see a bunch of movies that people talk about all the time that you've never seen.
Yes.
I want to also point out that Brandon, in true cornerstone podcast moment, is dressed in his finest.
I am.
He's got a button up with a tie and his good shoes and his church pants.
I almost wore my dress shoes, but I didn't want to scuff them up.
Yeah.
So
that's
I
fair.
wore my kind of scuffed up Doc Martens.
Yeah, but that'll work.
But yeah, I'm wearing my Sunday finest for episode
Yeah.
200.
And it's Sunday.
It is. Oh my god.
So it is my Sunday finest.
Yeah.
Finest.
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 Gonna teach you a couple new tie knots though.
What's wrong with this one?
Nothing. That's just it's a good solid basic tie knot. I'm gonna teach you how to do a Windsor.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Yes.
So did he just
Somebody
call you,
keeps doing a
Lord.
Windsor.
So did he just call you a basic bitch?
I think he did.
Yeah.
That was Remington.
In the
man.
kindest way possible.
At least he didn't show up with Starbucks, 'cause
was-
then he would have been.
I was mansplaining ties to him. It was a good basic tie, but I'm going to teach you how to do a Windsor.
Yes,
Make you look like a goddamn professional.
Is that Peasley Phil Dankerton who just walked in and offered to teach Brandon how to tie his
Yes.
ties?
While also giving him drugs.
Yes.
Peasley.
Hello.
This is a star-studded event.
How have you all been? I've been high as a kite.
I've heard so much about you, sir. I've never met you in person. It's not quite what I expected.
I know, right? He's so short and slight.
It's true, but you don't want to fuck with me. Because I will cut a bitch.
It's true, he will. I've seen him before.
Without hesitation.
Is that what that scar on your arm is, Brandon?
He's fucking crazy.
He's fucking crazy.
Oh, he injected you with something already, I can tell.
Shut up. You injected me with something.
No,
you
I
son
didn't.
Of a bitch.
He's crazy.
So yes, movies.
Yes. So what
I'm
all
trying to keep some semblance of form to this podcast before it devolves
it's
into
a
just
waste.
nothing.
It's already devolved.
So what movies have you been watching?
I skipped the first Star Trek movie,
Okay.
not the remakes, but the originals.
Right.
Because I didn't think I needed to and I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I wanted to start with Wrath of Khan.
That's fair. I mean, it's probably one of the best ones.
The first one?
No, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. So I watched Wrath of Khan. I really enjoyed it. I thought Ricardo Montalban did a fantastic job at chewing up the scenery. Then from there, I moved on to Star Trek 3. I can't remember their names. Search for Spock. And Search for Spock I actually enjoyed more than Wrath of Khan.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah, I like the Klingon presence.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Or not
Lloyd.
Christopher Lee, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd playing a Klingon was pretty crazy.
Right.
Did he say Great Scott a lot?
No, but he was basically, imagine, there was no acting involved. Just imagine putting Klingon makeup on Christopher Lloyd and then saying go. And that's what he was like in Search for Spock.
I mean, kind of. He was a little more intense, as you would expect a Klingon to
A
be.
little, but for the most part, he was just Christopher Lloyd.
I need to see
He was
this now.
angry Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
So it was just Christopher Lloyd when he was mad at Marty, but with Klingon makeup.
It was basically like watching Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Rick Sanchez is based off of Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future, loosely.
I haven't seen Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I've never watched it either.
I've seen like a 5-minute clip.
I know
That's
Pickle Rick and Eye Holes.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you later.
Bye, Rem.
Bye.
Muffled gunshot.
See ya.
MP3.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
Then I finally watched the whale one. Star Trek, the whale problem. Star Trek,
we ain't got no whales.
Star Trek, whale okay.
Is this about the animal or the country of Wales?
No,
The animal.
The animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick description for you, Bucky, because I had heard about this movie, but I'd never watched it before. I've always heard that it's the worst of the original Star Trek movies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're traveling back from the last movie back to Earth. They get there and Earth is like, something is destroying us. There's this big machine or something that is like boiling our oceans and just destroying everything.
It's like an obelisk, an obelisk of unknown origin.
Yeah, and it's broadcasting this signal and we don't understand what the signal is. So Kirk and Spock listen to it and they're like, that's the sound of a whale. We need to find whale somehow.
Because in the 24th, I think it's the 24th century or the 25th century, whales have become extinct.
Whales became extinct in the 21st century.
Yes.
So in the 2000s, we hunted whales to extinction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do that every weekend.
So they had to rocket around the sun to go back in time to like Earth in the 1980s or whenever it is, to San Francisco to rescue 2 humpback whales, to beam them up onto the ship, to take them to the future, to give them to this obelisk so the obelisk will reverse what it's doing and stop destroying Earth.
Yeah.
So you have the main Star Trek cast interacting with your average everyday people, like walking around dealing with the cops and stuff.
And this is, during the height of the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
So late 80s, early 90s.
So they think they're Russian spies.
Yeah, so especially Chekhov, who literally has a line that goes, "Where do you keep your nuclear vessels?"
Yeah, he's looking because the crystals that they used, they're in a Klingon ship at this point because they self-destructed the Starship Enterprise.
No, they're in a Romulan ship.
Is it a Romulan
It's
ship?
a Romulan bird of prey.
Yep.
Okay.
Got
So they're in a
ahead of
Romulan
myself.
ship.
You mean a Romulan Harley Quinn?
What? No.
No, okay. I thought I was making a clever joke there.
Nope, you weren't.
No.
And they have to get nuclear matter to power this ship because the crystals, or no, they have to get nuclear matter to grow the crystals or something because the crystals aren't working correctly.
Yeah, something like
It's something
that.
along those lines.
I'd lost attention at that point, but yeah, it's all about
It got a
whales.
little too technical for Brandon at that point.
It's like, show me a phaser or something. Christ.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't watched 5 yet. I have it downloaded. 6 I couldn't find anywhere. I'm sure it's probably on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu where I can rent, but I couldn't find it on the Pirate Bay that I go to buy DVDs.
Right.
The actual Pirate Bay?
Yar.
Yeah. Yar, you're looking for undiscovered country. Yar. That's
Fitting,
my
as
pirate.
this is the name of our Pirate Bay. Only you just discovered it, so it's not undiscovered anymore.
Marks out the sign. Marks out undiscovered on the sign.
Just marks out the un part. Discovered country.
And then I watched Big Trouble in Little China.
And then somebody gets really fruity and they call it Donkey Kong Country. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, at least one of us did, Rem.
Big Trouble in Little China. Yes.
Big Trouble in Little
Finally.
China was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
It is absolutely amazing.
It's worth watching. I'd heard about people saying that it was good, but I just kind of avoided it because I thought it looked stupid, and I'm not a big fan of, is it Kurt Russell?
Yes.
I'm not a big Kurt Russell fan.
I feel like if you're not a big Kurt Russell fan, it's because you've seen all of the wrong Kurt Russell movies.
I didn't even like him in Big Trouble in Little China that much. He's
Really?
just so he plays overly macho, and those kind of characters I don't enjoy. Now I know that it's too
Is
like
it because they threaten you?
maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a cuck.
That took a weird turn. That went from 0 to 100 real quick.
I don't know. I'm not an alpha. I'm a beta boy, I guess.
That really took me off guard.
Brandon is a cuck, confirmed.
But yeah,
Hashtag
so
Brandon is a cuck.
Is that the name of the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
please don't hashtag Brandon as a cuck.
To Twitter I go.
You know, as soon as you say don't do it, that the internet does, right? All right. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
But I think that was the point of his character, was to be overly macho.
Yeah, for
yes,
sure.
he's absolutely a caricature.
In fact, in a lot of those movies, he kind of is.
Is Big Trouble in Little China, is he supposed to be a caricature? Like, is Big Trouble in Little China is Big Trouble in Little China supposed to be a caricature of the entire genre of movie that it's parodying? Is it a parody?
I don't believe that was their intent.
No,
I
it was
do
definitely-
kind of think they meant to poke fun at that macho trucker hero that was incredibly popular at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you had like Smokey and the Bandit and all these other things where apparently there's this subgenre of trucker heroes saving key elements of Americana at different stages. There's an actual genre. I can't remember what it's called, but it's all about that kind of everyman, usually blue collar worker, usually a trucker, somehow winning the day. And I absolutely think his character in that movie is a caricature of those.
Okay.
But I don't think the entire movie is meant to be a parody.
That's fair.
But definitely like a fantasy comedy for sure.
Yeah. I would recommend it, Bucky.
Okay.
And they did have and it's not that old. They had a comic series written by John Carpenter that continued the story of Jack Burton and a couple other characters from Big Trouble in Little China. And I'd have to go, if you're interested, I can probably go back through my comic boxes and find it. But it picks up at Wang Chi's marriage to Miaoling, and then somebody shows up at their wedding to disrupt their wedding for mystical Chinese underworld purposes.
Yeah.
And shit gets weird again. So then the little guy who had the 6 demon bag, I can't remember his character name now.
Egg Foo.
Yes. So Egg Shen shows up and tells Jack that he needs Jack's help, and they're going to have to go into the Chinese underworld to get this object and do something. So Jack fires up his big rig, and it becomes like a road trip thing where he and Egg Shen are trucking through the Chinese underworld to try and fix this.
That sounds pretty awesome.
And it gets really weird at a few points, but it's very faithful. You can tell it was obviously the same guy who wrote the movie.
Yeah.
That it's very much like that. But at the end, it kind of takes a dark turn where it splits off. It ends that series and becomes a new series called Old Man Jack. And it's Jack Burton, who's been around for, I think at one point they state that it's been either decades or hundreds of years, that he cut a deal with Lopan's patron demon spirit, the King of the North Wind or whatever it was that gave him his immortality. And to try and save his own ass, Jack Burton cut a deal with him where if he spared his life and did something else, then Jack just kind of got his own little demi-plane where he could keep doing all the things that he liked to do so long as he didn't get killed. So he's been kind of stuck in his own little personal hell of all the things that Jack Burton liked doing, but he doesn't like doing them anymore. And it's a really convoluted story, like in terms of just something that spun off of this 80s movie. I recommend it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. That fits in with his character too, that he would cut a deal to just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
What he likes to do. And finally, movie-wise, I watched Blazing Saddles. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Blazing Saddles was funny.
Blazing Saddles.
It had Mel Brooks movies. I haven't really seen a whole lot of Mel Brooks movies. We've talked about it before, Rim, that I'm not a big fan of Mel Brooks.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Blazing Saddles may have converted me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There were parts I legitimately laughed out loud at a few parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Just like Big Trouble in Little China, there were parts that made me laugh out loud.
I noticed when you were talking about doing Blazing Saddles on your Facebook, there were a few people who were like, what other Mel Brooks movies? And they're obviously dated.
Yes.
And a lot of Mel Brooks movies kind of focused a lot of the jokes on current events in a way. Even Blazing Saddles, like the references to Hedy Lamarr. There were a couple other ones that escape me at the moment, but that one's the big one that sticks out just because I was recently talking about how Hedy actually sued them for using a parody joke of her name.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. And then if you go down deeper into that rabbit hole, like Mel Brooks was just like, or the studio said that they were or that she was suing, and he's like, just give her what she wants. She's Hedy Lamarr. I don't care. Like, pay her off. It's fine. She deserves it. But she's also, if you go down further into that rabbit hole, she's actually one of the people who contributed to Wi-Fi. She was one of the main scientists who created the concept of Wi-Fi communications.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. She was quite the scientist. So, also neat little factoid. Yeah. Weird, Bucky.
Did we just become best friends?
Nope.
I got a lot of Monty Python vibes out of Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks and Monty Python, from what I've seen so far,
yeah, it's a lot of
very
slapstick.
similar. Yeah,
a lot of slapstick.
Especially the ending of, spoilers for a 50-year-old movie at this point.
Right.
The ending where they just
Have a pie fight.
Yeah, they have a pie fight, and then they go into the actual lot where the movie's being filmed. And fight in
they break the fourth
lot.
wall. Yeah.
And then sit down in the movie theater to watch the end of their own movie so they know how it's going to end.
Which is another gag that he used in Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the script.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Spaceballs.
Well, no.
That's one I've seen that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that
They
yet.
specifically used the script in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then in Spaceballs, they were trying to fast forward through their own movie, even though it hadn't finished filming yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what are we looking at? We are looking at now.
We're at now. Everything you see now is happening now.
Yeah.
When will then be now?
Soon. But no, yeah, in fact, that's right. They do it several times, or Mel likes to break the fourth wall for sure. There are some movies that people suggested, like The History of the World. I don't think that you would like that one.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think you would. Men in Tights, a little over the top, but hilarious, and especially the backwards talking sheriff.
Okay.
See, you said you have seen Spaceballs and liked it.
Right.
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
I love that one.
Is that Leslie Nielsen?
Yes, that's Leslie Nielsen.
It seems to catch a bunch of flack, and I don't really know
does.
why.
I don't know either, and it doesn't get the shine, but it's so good. It's so good. Hold on.
I know I've heard not great things about it. As far as Leslie Nielsen movies go, it's considered one of his worst.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Which is surprising because he has a,
so much worse
Yeah.
ones, though.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true.
What's that one?
Especially toward the end of his career,
Yeah.
you could really tell he was going downhill. But I don't feel like Dracula Dead and Loving It deserves to be lumped in with those later movies.
What's that one Leslie Nielsen movie that had Drake Bell in it? It was essentially a parody of Spider-Man 1 and 2.
I think it
I'm
was
not sure.
It's like
I think it was
superhero movie.
superhero movie.
Yeah.
That one was
That's great. One of my favorite lines is when Leslie Nielsen got shot and Drake Bell just runs up and he's like, "Let me tell you something. With great power comes what? What? Great responsibility? No, I was going to say bitches, but that works too." With great power comes bitches. I want that as a tattoo.
And maybe that's what it is. Like, the acting is just straight up campy and over the top.
yeah.
Maybe
That's the
that's-
point, though.
Maybe that's but that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Is this is kind of poking fun at all of the old
Yeah.
Dracula movies,
Well,
where
and this
everything was stage actors doing over the top stuff on screen.
and this one came out like maybe a year or two after
Bram Stoker.
the Bram Stoker Dracula that tried to take itself so seriously and is a cool film, but you can tell, like, with Keanu Reeves' acting job in that, and I mean, Gary Oldman's a treasure in anything.
Yeah.
But you look at most of the people from that movie, and yes, it's very stylistic and overblown and kind of a callback to those classic monster movies. And I very much think this is paying homage to that. But I love that parody. I think it's
feels
fantastic.
like it's meant to be like the actors are purposefully overacting everything.
Oh, yes.
Like certain genres, overacting doesn't work, but in stuff like that, which seems to be a parody of it, of just seeing that like 2 minutes of footage, just seems like they're kind of doing a parody.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
To a point, anyway.
Peter McNichol as Renfield in this is fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, was because it says Dead and Loving It This Way, Master, and
That's
But this
coming up in this scene. It's
but I'd
I
like
think one of the funnier bits to show him would be the staking. Like, not of Dracula, but
yeah.
we should have put some newspapers down.
There we go.
My God. Now she's dead.
No, she's not.
She's alive?
She's Nosferatu.
She's Italian?
She's the undead. She's cursed to spend eternity in misery, hunting the living like a wild animal.
What should we do?
For the sake of her eternal soul, we must destroy her. The only way is to drive a wooden stake through her heart.
Oh, that's horrible. Is there no other way?
One other. We could cut off her head, stuff her mouth with garlic, and tear off her ears.
Give me the stake. Oh, no. No, I can't do it. You do it.
It must be done by one who loved her in life.
I only liked her.
Close enough. Good boy. You can do it. You can do it. Here, now place the point of the stake directly over her heart and hit as hard as you can. Wait! Now!
Oh, my God! There's so much blood!
She just ate!
It's great.
She's still alive!
Hit her again!
No. I can't.
How much blood can she have left? Go. She's almost dead.
She's dead enough. Oh, this is ghastly.
Yes, you're right. We should have put newspapers down.
Oh, what have I done? What have I done to poor Lucy?
It's so dumb.
A little extra
So
Foley
good.
there. Yeah, I'm not going to say that it's one of Mel Brooks' best movies. It's not, but I still think that it deserves a spot to be watched.
I think I would give it a shot because I like Leslie Nielsen as much as I do.
Mm-hmm. It definitely moves a little slower. But I think that kind of plays to the fact that those older movies did.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So there's your next one. We haven't even got to any stories.
Yeah, I know.
Bucky, you been good?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Chad, how about you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good.
Kind of rolling with this stupid virus scare
Yeah.
since I'm working in, a public entity and
Yeah.
they're calling for some really stupid shutdowns and changes to how we do things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, of course, you're kind of like a projects and repair guy, aren't you?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, I mean, does it affect you, or does this give you more room and to get more stuff done.
Well, that was kind of the way I interpreted it when we were waiting. And of course, we're talking about the coronavirus and everybody flipping their shit about how to react to it. And every state around West Virginia, literally every border state, shut down their school systems before West Virginia did.
Yep.
And on Friday, there weren't a whole lot of us at work. Some guys were just cashing in like half a sick day to be like, yeah, I'm going home early. I don't care. And we were basically waiting because all of our superintendents from every county school system were having a meeting with the governor that day. So we knew they were going to come to a decision of some kind and that it was probably going to be to close the schools, but also that it probably would not affect us. And it really didn't, because as soon as they made the announcement, first they canceled all like extracurricular activities.
Right.
So they said, and of course we're in basketball playoff season. We've got state semifinals and state finals to look forward to. Those have been postponed indefinitely.
Right.
Any other sporting events, any gathering that uses school property has been suspended. And I understand it in terms of treating this as a communicable disease and trying to lessen the impact of getting a bunch of people into a crowded area and increasing the chances that something is going to spread from person to person. But the maintenance guys are still working, so we're still going to be doing our thing. And yes, we can get to some projects that we normally would not be able to get to with the kids not around.
Right.
Because we can actually go into classrooms and drill and hammer and break stuff.
Right.
Not have to wait till like overtime to do it. Well, now the teachers are also going to be at school, because one of the big things about a school system is if nobody's in school, contractually in West Virginia, you are obligated to meet a certain number of days on the calendar, to have it legally considered that you did a year's worth of school. So just like with snow days, you miss a certain number of days, you have to make those days up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that was going to be the case here. And so there was a lot of conflicting information given out to the teachers, especially because I know several teachers. I know your brother's a teacher, Brandon, and he was talking about all the conflicting information they were being given, how they were changing their minds like every 10 minutes and giving them new instructions about what to take out of their classrooms, when they could come back to their classrooms, how they were going to operate this following week. It was a bunch of contradictory information. And now, so your whole point in shutting down the school system is to decrease the amount of contact between people in large groups to prevent the spread of disease. Well, maintenance is going to be there. All the teachers are going to be there, because as long as the teachers are there doing something that, quote unquote, facilitates the student learning environment, whether that be catching up on teacher training or writing up a lesson plan or something like that, then that's a day that does not have to be made up.
Oh, okay.
So the teachers are all there, and in deference to families with kids who are dependent on school lunch and breakfast programs, every school in the county, all 27 schools in this county, are still offering lunches between 10:30 and like 12. So you might as well just have school.
Yeah.
Because there's still going to be hundreds of kids going to every school in order to get to take advantage of their lunch program if they don't have regular meals at home or something. So you're still having a bunch of people meet in school.
Yeah.
Do you know if the schools are doing anything like online classes for the time that they're out? Because I know in Ohio, the school district I was in, they're doing online classes.
They're considering it, and it's something that they're just going to have to roll with and probably change on the fly as circumstances change,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
The governor of Ohio also said, I saw today online, that they're talking about shutting down schools for the rest of the school year. In Ohio, anyway.
Yeah, he says that it's on the table.
And that I'm assuming the schools that have online classes in place will be doing that. I have a friend who's still in high school, or I know someone who has a kid who's in high school. The other day, he was saying that the bus drivers, because where I went, there's a lot of back roads where you can't get internet or anything like that. So the bus drivers are going to have lesson plans that they're going to drive around to kids who have it ticked that they're not able to do online classes.
Wow.
Like packets of papers that they're just going to drive around.
Wow.
Probably
So-
not taking the bus.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. They might have to. Because I doubt the schools would, if they were using their own personal vehicle, I doubt the schools would, they might pay for the gas, but anything else I doubt they'd cover.
I'm sure they'd pay for the reimbursement of gas.
Yeah. But like mileage on your car or if something
Well,
happened.
that's
or-
what that is.
Yeah.
Is you charge mileage. It's like 56. Well, I think it's like 56 cents a mile in West Virginia, or 53 or something like that. I don't know what it is in Ohio. But that's
yeah.
what that does, is it pays for gas and vehicle use.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of a tangent that I went off on about there, but that's currently what's occupying my mind and my work and non-work schedules is
Right.
just dealing with the fallout of handling this virus and trying to figure out a workaround, just stocking up on things, watching people around losing their minds, and
Yeah.
stock up on toilet paper, which
I don't even understand why that's the big thing. Like, okay, so you'll be able to wipe your ass, but you won't be able to eat to then make shit to need to use the toilet paper to wipe your ass.
well, so you eat the toilet paper,
Yeah.
and you
Oh,
and you
okay.
wipe as it comes out.
Yeah.
With what?
a-
What happens when you eat all the toilet paper? Do you just use the shit?
No, it wipes you
Oh.
as it exits.
I
Oh, that's
misunderstood.
genius.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store 2 days ago and they were all sold out of water. They were all sold out of bread. They were all sold out of toilet paper. There were no eggs. The milk was pretty much gone.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
A lot of stores have been putting caps on how many things you can buy.
Yep.
Aldi was a four item cap for a single item.
Mm-hmm.
It was
That sort of thing.
and it depends upon the item. I was at Harbor Freight yesterday because I needed a couple of sawhorses, and they said there was a limit of 4 packs of nitrile gloves
Yeah,
because that's the only thing that Harbor Freight would have that could go toward this.
pretty much. Yeah.
But when I was
And
at
masks.
when I was at Walmart yesterday, like the toilet paper and paper towel aisle was just out. Half the cleaning supplies were just gone. The
Mhm.
only water left were the big packs of Dasani and Aquafina.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look at the eggs, but like all the canned goods were gone, which my friend who I was with made a good point that this should be like a determining what they need to make or not. Because like whatever is left on the shelf is what people don't want. So
Yeah.
why make it? But it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I went to Home Depot yesterday because I was looking for material to keep me occupied with projects in case we get some sort of more serious shutdown. Because I at least want things that I can do with my hands when I'm at the house.
Yeah.
So I was picking up like paint and a few other things, and somebody had hit the cleaning aisle in Home Depot really hard. There was no hand sanitizer of any kind left. Most of their bleach was gone. And on my way home, I tried stopping somewhere because I have 2 dogs, and lately I've been with how many dog food companies have had recalls on their products, sometimes multiple times a year, and you find out there's like toxic substances in there that can kill pets. I've just been making my own dog food for them in a slow cooker, and I stopped at 3 different places on my way home just to pick up some more because I had already made some and frozen it because it'll keep for a really long time when it's frozen. So I wanted to get some more ground beef just to make like one more batch, and one batch can feed both my dogs for almost 2 weeks. But 3 different places on the way home, none of them had ground beef of any kind. And basically all you had left was maybe some frozen chicken thighs and some turkey burgers.
Right.
And that was about it in just one of the places.
Yeah, Walmart yesterday looked like they were attempting to keep the meat section stocked, but it was leaving faster than they were able to put it out on the shelves because they had like one person working the meat department at least. From what I saw on the floor, there was only one person at Walmart.
Well, I think Ginger was telling me that they were actually closing Walmart.
Yeah, they're normally 24-hour, and
yeah.
they're shutting down overnight, I think.
Shutting down overnight, so there is less likelihood that the people who are stocking shelves during the evening are exposed to other outside people, as well as giving them space to do their job.
Yeah. So is this something you guys are nervous about at all?
Nope.
I mean, I hate to really talk about it because
this is basically social commentary, and our podcast is pretty much a social commentary podcast, comedy podcast, and
comedy,
loose comedy podcast, and it's what's on everybody's head, whether you find it annoying or whether you find it a serious thing or anywhere in between on that spectrum, whether you think it's a government plot because we happen to get a major virus every time an election comes up or what.
I've heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing a statistic. I looked for it online and I couldn't find an exact number because every site I looked at had a different number.
Yeah.
But I saw that anywhere from 7 to 10% of adult Americans think that you get the coronavirus from drinking Corona beer.
Right.
Those are the same people who believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
Yeah.
So
but
there's no fucking way that's true.
It's 100% true.
I believe it. I 100% believe it.
Yes.
Because when I was in Walmart yesterday as well,
Corona stocks dropped because
the sales are actually up 5%.
Yeah.
But when I was in Walmart yesterday, like every other type of beer, because I was just curious, so I went over and looked. Every other type of beer there was more space on the shelves than normal. Like there was less Bud Light than it's normally in there, less whatever else. Corona was almost fully stocked.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But going back to what I said, it's something that I don't want to say that we're required to talk about, but we can't help it. I mean, we just have to. Because it's
the only thing in the news right now.
It's affecting everybody.
Even nerd stuff. All these movies are getting pushed back because of it. Like cons are closing.
Yep. We had, I just came back from working Penny Arcade Expo a couple weekends ago. And at a very late date in that show's operation, Sony pulled out.
Yeah.
One of the big four in terms of
E3 got totally canceled.
In terms of content creation and everything else. And they had this was kind of the beginning of when it was really starting to spill over into conventions and other operational schedules in America. And the mayor of Boston kind of went on a tirade attacking Sony for pulling out of a big convention that's a huge draw to Boston's economy. And after that, we switched some things around so there wasn't a big empty space where Sony used to be on the show floor in the expo hall. But, we just had to roll with it. Then after that convention winds down, then we hear South by Southwest is canceled. Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle is postponed. I don't know if they've changed their minds and canceled it yet, but they postponed it at least by several months. Mm-hmm. So that starts to affect artists who work these shows into their schedule to generate content and get people's eyes on their products and try to shop themselves around to either individuals or companies who might want their art. It's affecting all these people in all these different circles. And like Bucky was pointing out, it's pushed back movie and show productions. Mm-hmm. In some cases, it's pushed back release dates of movies. In other cases, it's pushing back production. Yeah. Like
Falcon and Winter Soldier, they got canceled filming because they were supposed to be filming in Prague for a section of the show, and they were immediately shipped back to the U.S. I'm sure they're still going to carry on filming because they have the technology to be able to make it look like they're there.
Right.
But still, that probably cost how many jobs over there?
And they've pushed back production on Kenobi.
Yeah, that's happened before.
They've pushed back production on WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. Loki.
Loki.
New Mutants release date got pushed back again, but I feel like that movie's never coming out at this rate.
Yeah, I have some coronavirus cancellations here. E3 2020 is canceled, which was the big bummer for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like sitting and watching all the E3 coverage as it broadcasts out. It's a lot of fun.
I was hoping to see more Avengers game footage, honestly.
The first one that I saw was Twitch Amsterdam. One of the guys in the Lurk Squad Discord was pretty bummed out because he was going to go to that, and that was the first canceling that I'd heard of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Mulan, which was supposed to release March 27th, is now pushed back indefinitely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing because they were going to do a wide release in China.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would be pushed back, but 20th Century Studios' The New Mutants was supposed to release April 3rd, and Searchlight's Antlers, I'm not sure what Antlers is, comes out April 17th, have been removed entirely from the release schedule.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, releasing movies to theaters it's another gathering place.
Yeah.
Like, it may not be a large venue, but it's a very enclosed area.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
really puts a kibosh on theater going.
because you're dedicating 2 hours of your time in a room with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with New Mutants, too, it was originally supposed to be released like 2 years ago, but it's been moved so many times. Like the first one was April 13th of 2018. They pushed it back because Deadpool 2 came out around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was rescheduled for February 22nd in 2019. And it was moved because X-Men Dark Phoenix came out about that around there too. Then once Disney bought Fox, it was delayed till later that year. And then once that finally went through, it was delayed again to April 3rd of this year. And then coronavirus hit. And who knows at this point when or if that movie's ever coming out.
Right.
I have absolutely no intention of seeing that movie. But,
Which
I
is
think it looks
surprising
good.
because you see pretty much every superhero movie.
almost
that comes
every
out.
single superhero movie, it just looks boring and uninteresting to me.
Yeah. Did you see Dark Phoenix in
No,
theaters?
I did not.
So that was one
'cause
you
I heard
avoided as well?
I was maybe going to see it, but then because of life stuff, I wasn't able to, and I'm now not interested because I heard it was worse than X-Men 3.
Yeah. I'd like to see it because I really enjoy Phoenix as a character.
I heard they changed it entirely. Like it was originally going to be like a big Phoenix thing in space, but because it was similar to Captain Marvel, they changed it until everyone was on a train.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of our podcast episodes, I believe, how they changed it at the last minute because it was so similar to, what'd you say, Guardians?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, that's right. With Skrulls and stuff even,
Yeah.
I think they rumored. But Disneyland, California is also closing.
Yeah.
While there have been no reported cases of COVID-19 at Disneyland Resort, after carefully reviewing the guidelines of the Governor of California's executive order and in the best interests of our guests and employees, we are proceeding with the closure of Disneyland Park and Disneyland California Adventure, beginning the morning of March 14th through the end of this month.
Now, I
And
will
it's-
say that if I remember correctly, they do intend upon paying the workers for the parks, at least for, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks of the closure.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good on them, at
Yeah.
least, with all the other stuff they've been through. Their workers trying to get rate increases or, basic human treatment.
Yeah.
Right.
Apparently, this is only the 4th time in history that Disneyland has shut down. It also closed down after 9/11, the Northridge earthquake, and the National Day of Mourning after the JFK assassination. Disney World, however, is still open as far as I know.
Yeah, we had, in the LARP scene, this weekend was supposed to be a kingdom-wide coronation event near Cincinnati for Amped Guard. And coronation is just something that happens every 6 months when you vote in and induct new kingdom or park level officers. And we canceled that. And this was ahead of most of the other cancellations, like school systems and other things. This is when they had just started to consider like school closings in Ohio. But I remember I'm trying to pull it up here because it was a list of the expectations that were presented by some of the organizers we were talking with back and forth. So this kind of led to a bit of a difference in how the LARP is run, because somebody floated the idea, and I believe there are higher officers within the LARP going forward with these plans to have an entirely online event.
Oh, wow.
So it would definitely be heavy on the role play for those who think that this LARP, for whatever reason, is only about just hitting people with sticks.
Yeah.
So like, well, can't really do that online, so here's an entirely RP-based event for your LARP. But this was an announcement. So I'm just going to pull some of the highlights from it because they canceled this on March 9th. But due to the outbreak of COVID-19 in the Kingdom of the Rising Winds, the Board of Directors has voted to cancel the Rising Winds coronation. We were advised that if we were to continue with this event, we would need to have an implicit connection to the local government and their current regulations, a pre-screening prior to players arriving that would include a set of behavioral standards for participants, a waiver for damages from participants that includes the effects of COVID-19 as a potential negative outcome, staff and participants educated to understand some of the basic signs of COVID-19. If someone were to develop COVID-19, they may not be able to freely travel back home, have an area to isolate people who develop COVID-19, have sufficient and well-distributed hand-washing stations, have a plan and means of engagement or transport to local care facilities, a plan for conducting the event should a critical number of staff fall ill. Added concerns discussed were food. Feeding 300 people buffet style with zero passing of germs is near impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
Games. We sweat, we spit, things happen, germs are spread. War team and autocrats were not comfortable with the amount of bodily fluids exchanged throughout an event. Drinking. Amped guarders share drinks. This is a huge way the virus can spread. Sleep. Amped guarders are often sleep deprived at events. This causes a compromised immune system, which makes people more susceptible to COVID-19 and other viruses. So, yeah, like you throw in all those on what is essentially a volunteer-run organization. Like, no, we're not going to set up an area to medically quarantine people. We don't have the time or the resources to train an entire medical staff in basics, which is what you're asking for. So if these are the stipulations that everybody running an event state by state is looking at, then hell yeah, you're going to have a lot of cancellations and it's going to affect a ton of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that I totally lost the word for it. How you pass it from one person to another.
Cross-contamination.
How you can track the disease.
The what, Rem?
Virility.
That'll work. I know the virility of it is really high. The virulence.
Yeah.
The virulence is very high.
Your Rem's just thinking about your virility there, obviously.
He's just thinking about a good old virile Brandon.
I am.
A viral Brandon.
I usually am.
So yeah, we're all going to die from coronavirus. I hope that you guys are enjoying this podcast.
Yep.
Speaking of...
I feel like we're making this a real bitch for Brandon to edit.
Yeah.
Man, there has not been a real common thread in this entire discussion.
Speaking of pandemics and diseases, have you guys played The Last of Us at all? Any of you?
I have it on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it from GameStop. I played the opening. Have you played it?
I watched a playthrough of it. I didn't have it when I had my PS3. I have it on my PS4, though. I just haven't had a chance.
Okay. I started to play it, and you start as a little girl in the opening of it, and then things go sideways. And then you get to the part where there's zombies in the very, very early on in the game. And for some reason, I had a glitch where all my zombies were T-posed.
That's great.
And they weren't animated. They were just flying around.
That's awesome.
That's freaking great.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious, but I couldn't get past it. So I've never played The Last of Us past that.
Now that one is
first 15 minutes.
That one's mostly cell shaded, right? Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
No, you might be thinking of The Wolf Among Us. or Walking Dead cell shaded. The Last of Us is like a hyper realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking the Walking Dead one.
It's like a third
I've watched
person.
a lot of people play that one, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Last of Us 2 comes out later this year, supposedly if the coronavirus isn't pushing it back too. But HBO just picked up a Last of Us series.
Yeah.
Run by the guy who did the limited series Chernobyl, and then the guy who from Naughty Dog who wrote The Last of Us. They're going to be doing an adaptation of the game to story or to the screen.
That'll be cool.
From what I've heard, I can't remember the actress they cast for Ellie, but they cast Nikolai Coster-Waldau as Joel.
Who was that?
He was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he played Cersei's brother. Can't remember his first name.
Something
One of the
Lannister.
Lannisters.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie Lannister. And Joel is the guy you play as in the game.
Yeah.
Who has the weird walk, the weird sneak walk. I just know that from the memes. But that's going to be an interesting one. And that opens up the conversation of, do you think video games, since they haven't been successfully adapted to movies, do you think games would be more successful if they were adapted to shows? Because I've heard both ways that this is either going to be great, it'll introduce the story to a bunch of people who wouldn't go out and buy The Last of Us and play it, but who still like that sort of genre of entertainment. They just don't like gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Video game movies are interesting because it really allows filmmakers to shoot movies in ways that they may not have done traditionally. And that tends to be part of the reason why a movie can flop, is if they're doing some really weird, awkward camera angles that work in game, but don't work very well for a movie viewing experience. That can throw things off. A lot of times, video game movie scripts are just based on an already created world or loosely based on the content from the game. And that a lot of times will end up shooting a video game movie in the foot. Sometimes you put it in a world that has been established for years and years and years, and it turns into this death mask of fakery.
But also, when you're talking about a game that's heavily based on the story, that's what makes the game. Like The Last of Us, even though The Last of Us is a shorter game, you still have 10, 12 hours to develop the story and develop the characters throughout the game, as opposed to a movie where you have 2.5 hours at most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
But with a series,
you
you have maybe 10 one-hour episodes to develop characters. Like I know The Witcher, it has done really well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't. If anyone here has, I don't want spoiled on it.
He dies.
He gets a coin.
He becomes Superman,
He gets a coin.
tossed to him.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, but
It's constantly pelted by coins.
okay. Well, he's Superman, so he's okay. But I feel like certain games that would work if you adapt it to a series. Like The Last of Us I feel like it lends itself to a series.
Yeah, absolutely. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I agree.
That's what I was going to say as well. As in a movie, you only have so much time to flesh out the characters. In a game that you've put 12, 15, 36 plus hours into. So
Like with Assassin's Creed, that movie came out a few years ago, and I enjoyed the movie. But it was also supposed to take place within the game world, but it was an original story. It wasn't like an adaptation of Assassin's Creed 2. So
yeah,
it was an original story, but they left different things out or changed things from the game lore, which I felt took away from the movie.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one to pick up, because the Assassin's Creed stories are kind of insular, since it's almost like, and I don't know if they continued this because I've only played like the first one and the second one, but isn't it basically like a headset and you go back and you relive
in the games?
sort of?
It's basic the way in Assassin's Creed. There's this thing in DNA called genetic memory. So with the process that this one guy invented using this machine called the Animus, you can lay in it, you get hooked up to it, and you get to relive the memories of the main character's ancestors. So for the first, from Assassin's Creed 1 through 4, it was, even though it wasn't directly in 4 with the main character because he had died in 3,
right?
They were using his DNA, like blood samples and stuff like that. So he was able to go back and relive the lives of his ancestors, Altair Ibn Lahad, Ezio Auditore, Connor Kenway, and then Edward Kenway.
Yeah.
So he can go back, but when you're playing the game, you're not actually controlling the character. In universe, he's basically sitting there watching a movie of his ancestors doing what they do.
Right. So that takes me back to that particular franchise has an interesting aspect of it in regard to making movies out of it, because you can take different people who have assassins, because, you know, it's a whole brotherhood of assassins. So different people who have this DNA, what do you call it? Memory?
It's a genetic memory.
Genetic memory, and just tell those stories.
And from Assassin's Creed 1 through 4, the only thing that transferred through all of those games was Desmond Miles, the modern day character you play as. He was the only thread, and the modern day plotline was the only thing that connected them.
Yeah.
2, Brotherhood and Revelations were connected more than that, but that's because they were following the same character, Ezio Auditore, throughout his lifetime.
Right.
But then they can still go on, and I feel like Assassin's Creed, it would lend itself great to a movie or a series, but they have to have someone on the movie that makes sure they don't contradict something that happened in the games, because that was my one issue with it.
Right.
I think we're going to start to see a lot more video games turned into TV shows.
Because The Witcher is doing great.
The Witcher's doing great. You have Detective Pikachu as a movie that did really well. You have the Sonic movie that apparently is very good.
It was amazing.
And
I
it's
saw
doing
it.
very
It was
well.
great.
So I think you're going to see a lot more video games adapted, and I think that TV shows are going to be the way that they're going to adapt them now that they know that there's a market out there for people to watch them. I know Netflix doesn't really release their numbers.
Yeah.
So you don't know how many people actually watch The Witcher, but it's enough that they've already said they're doing a second season of it.
Yeah, and plus with Netflix, they changed the way they do report their numbers. So like, let's say, and also autoplay is automatically turned on. So if you're flipping through Netflix, you scroll down and you stop on The Witcher, well, it'll automatically play if you go to piss or something. That counts that maybe minute and a half you were away from the screen. That counts it as a view. Even though you didn't view a whole episode, that it counts that minute and a half that it was autoplaying as a view.
Oh, okay.
Unlike YouTube, where if you watch one video, a 15-minute YouTube video for 10 minutes, oh, you've watched 10 minutes of that video.
Yeah.
And all these streaming services are going to have something as cannon fodder to try and get more people to hook up to their streaming service. Like there's a series, I can't think of the name of it. I know it has Jason Momoa, but it kind of looks like barbarian tribes, maybe some fantasy magic type thing is involved, and it's on like Apple TV.
Yeah, that's C.
And like I'm interested in that show just from the preview I've seen. I have no interest in getting Apple TV.
Yeah.
But if all these streaming services are going to start competing for our dollars and throwing different shows at us as a way to get us hooked onto them, how many streaming services are there now that can say, oh yeah, we've got money to throw at an adaptation of The Last of Us, or we need 10 episodes of this, or we need 6 episodes of that. So we're going to see a lot more of that because we're not waiting for television networks to pick it up.
Yeah.
We have 8 or 9 streaming services that are all competing for our attention, and they know that somebody's going to get it.
Here's the downside of that. It's funny that we came onto this because last night I took the time to watch the 2nd season of The Tick. I hadn't had a chance to yet. And I was like, man, I'm really, really freaking enjoying this. I wonder if and when season 3 is going to come out. And it's not.
Yeah, canceled.
It was canceled.
Or not renewed, I guess. Not canceled. But
And he tried to shop it around and nobody picked it up. And I'm just like, man, I kind of get it because as we all know by now, superhero shows, movies are kind of expensive to make. And even if it's a comedy, it's kind of expensive to make. This show looked really good, They changed in the second season. They changed the Tick's outfit again,
Oh, really?
but they played it off as if he was molting. So, like, for the first 1 or 2 episodes, Arthur and the Tick are just finding bits and pieces of his old costume laying around the house, and he just flushes them down the
That's
toilet.
funny. That's cool.
Yeah. But it is a real shame because by the end of it, like, they ended it to where if they didn't get picked up, it was fine. But they also left it open enough that if they did get renewed, they could continue a story. And so now I'm left wanting to know what the thought process was for the next season, because it was very Cthulhu-esque.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here's another thing that with all the streaming services competing for it too, are they going to do something like Netflix, where when season 2 of The Witcher comes out, they're just going to dump the entirety of season 2 onto their platform? Or are they going to make it like Disney Plus, where for The Mandalorian, you waited week to week for each new episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And that would create, and as long as it's more than 4 episodes in a season, you're going to get at least 2 payments out of people for that service.
Yeah.
Unlike Netflix, where let's say, oh, The Witcher's on, I can get a free trial for a week that is my vacation week from work, and I can binge watch the 2 seasons of The Witcher.
Yeah. I think for streaming services longevity and customer retention, I think that it's important to release episodes in a timely fashion, much like it doesn't have to be exactly like it is for television. You know, it doesn't have to be week to week. You can do 2 episodes a week or whatever, really. But I think it's important for the customer retention side of it, like you were saying. You can just use a free trial up and different email or put in a different card number or what have you, because they do have ways of tracking whether or not you're doing that. But also from a responsibility point, I feel like, for these streaming services to not just dump the whole thing so people can binge watch if they're interested. I mean, you're not going to stop people from binge watching, but it has been proven that a lot of binge watching is definitely bad for your health. So there's a certain amount of responsibility that, you know, maybe you release the episodes in a timely fashion, and then once it's all out there, you can't really stop anybody from binge watching it. So that's just going to happen. But at least for that initial release, having it stepped not only helps customer retention, but also helps your customers' health.
And people who care about spoilers of shows that are based on, you know, Star Wars or Marvel, they're going to get it and watch it week to week, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to wait the few weeks until the entire new season of The Mandalorian's out and get it then. You're going to get spoiled on something. Baby Yoda, from the first episode of The Mandalorian, the second he came on screen, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
The second the child came on screen, it was everywhere on the internet.
Yeah,
and there's nothing you can do to stop that.
I knew all about Baby Yoda way before I watched The Mandalorian.
And it also speaks to viewer retention too, because when people binge watch things, you see this immediate spike in interest in something if it's a good new show, and then after a couple weeks, people just kind of shut up about it. And you'll even ask somebody, hey, what were your thoughts on this series that Netflix just dropped? And you might have a discussion with somebody where they don't remember much about the show, or they kind of liked this part and that part, but it feels like it was so long ago. Like, no, it wasn't that long ago. It was 3 weeks ago. And to have that big of a gap, if you're going to do a recurring seasonal show, it's in their best interests, these streaming services, to release something on a weekly or a semi-weekly basis, because then it's in pop culture longer. It has a more drawn out impact. It has time to build up a more solid fan base and get more people interested in it, instead of it's all available right now. Everybody's going to watch it right now. And then 2 months down the road, it's going to be like it never existed until season 2 rolls around.
Yeah, The Mandalorian had so much buzz around it for that exact reason, because it was releasing week to week. You saw Baby Yoda, and then, oh shit, I've got to wait I think the first
7 days.
I think between the first and the second episode was like 3 days, and then they went to a seventh
the first episode
day.
came out on a Wednesday. The second episode came out that Friday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the week, I think it was episode 7, which was the week Rise of Skywalker came out. Instead of it coming out on Friday, it came out on Wednesday because they introduced something that in The Mandalorian that had a very heavy presence in The Rise of Skywalker.
Which was so stupid.
I don't really think it was.
I didn't think the Force power itself was stupid, but the fact that J.J. Abrams was building it up, he was like, "Oh, there's something in the Mandalorian that's a spoiler for Star Wars: Rise of
I didn't
Skywalker."
hear that. I didn't know he
It
was
was-
talking about it.
Oh yeah, he was building it up.
That was the thing. They were like, "Oh, well, we're getting an episode early this week because there's going to be a major
Field of
plot
Thrones.
point. There's going to be a major plot point that's going to be key to the storyline of Rise of Skywalker, and you're only going to see it if you watch The Mandalorian before it releases." It's like the aftermath. Okay, it was a Force power we hadn't seen on screen before.
It wouldn't.
But
It wouldn't
that
have
was
mattered
it.
either way if you waited to watch The Mandalorian and saw The Rise of Skywalker first.
Yeah, but they definitely played it up beforehand to kick up interest, and that could just be JJ's fault.
I
but-
never heard about it.
Yeah, you might have missed out on it, but I remember reading about it.
Yeah.
I knew something was up because of when that episode came out. It came out 2 days before The Rise of Skywalker's confirmed release date. And so I assumed something was going to be in it, but I didn't hear all this. Like J.J. Abrams is saying this is happening. I never.
Well,
Yeah.
there were a lot more momentous things that happened in that episode anyway, like the return of the Darksaber
That
for
was the next
one.
episode. That was the final shot of the show.
I thought that was the same episode.
The guy who had that showed up that episode at the very end of that episode, but then
Oh,
the
okay.
Darksaber didn't show up until the very end of the next.
That's right.
Episode.
I thought the Rise of Skywalker coincided with the last episode, not the
It was the second.
second to last.
And for my next story, this was a story that only I will care about.
Okay.
The organizers of the 20th Annual Game Developers Choice Awards, the GDCA,
Uh-huh.
the premier accolades for peer recognition celebrating the industry's top games, studios, and developers, will be honoring the trailblazing storyteller and game creator Roberta Williams with this year's Pioneer Award, which recognizes breakthrough tech and game design milestones.
Okay. And what is she known for?
For her influential work in the graphical adventure game genre for creating the landmark game series King's Quest,
Oh, nice.
which I've talked about ad
Yeah.
nauseum on this podcast, I'm sure, and for co-founding Sierra Online with her husband Ken Williams. The company went on to publish a string of influential graphical adventures that pushed the technological envelope and helped establish video games as a true storytelling medium. Have you ever played a point-and-click adventure, Chad?
I have. Not King's Quest, but I've played a few of the titles from LucasArts that were kind of built on that, like Day of the Tentacle and
Maniac Mansion, Monkey Island, some of those.
yeah, some of those. I kind of miss that genre of game.
It's still alive and well. You just got to look for it.
And I know Myst, would Myst fall under that category? as
Kind
well?
of, yeah.
But I never really got into it at the time, but I have some friends who are still just gigantic Myst fans. So I kind of know that exists, but I just don't devote the time to searching it out. Or
Yeah.
I did recently, I say recently, but it's probably been a year, got a Day of the Tentacle like redone, remastered to play on a modern computer. It was
Oh,
like
nice.
it was like a Steam sale for 99 cents. Like, this will be the best dollar I spend all year.
Yeah, really.
So I do enjoy those.
LucasArts made a lot of really good point-and-click games. I was always a Sierra fan with the King's Quest and Space Quest games, Quest for Glory, all of the Quest series of games, Police Quest. I loved all of those. So it's cool to see Roberta Williams getting the accolades that she deserves because she was a huge part of my childhood. I played Myst a little bit, but not a whole lot. My exposure to Myst actually was at a church retreat where it was a weekend church retreat, and on Saturday night they were having a dance. And I was maybe 12 or 13 and there were absolutely no girls interested in me. So I had no interest in going to this dance because I was like, why am I going to go to this dance and stand in a corner and feel like a fucking idiot? Those weren't my thoughts at 12, but you know,
Going to a church function, no.
Yeah, translated from being 12 to now. So one of the like nerdy pastors or pastor's helpers was letting the kids that didn't want to go to the dance hang out in the computer room, and he had Myst set up on a projector. So it was like projected on an entire wall of the church that we were in. And we were playing Myst on this huge wall, and it was fucking awesome. And we played for like 2 or 3 hours.
That'd be kind of cool.
It was really cool. It was the only time I've ever played Myst because it's not really my type of game. It's more puzzle heavy than a lot of the Sierra games are. But yeah, Myst, pretty cool. You ever played a point and click game, Bucky?
No.
I didn't figure so. You're too young.
There was a game, I was trying to think of it the other day. I know it was like a point and click, maybe partially text-based adventure. I was going to run it by you and see if you might know what it was. I can't remember any of the character names. It had to do with you getting stuck on an island. It was not Monkey Island.
Mm-hmm.
It was, to my knowledge, it was not a LucasArts. But there was like a maze that you had to go through and you couldn't see. So you had to navigate like with the arrow keys, but you had no visualization to go off of. And
yeah, I know what
it
you're
was
talking
like
about.
it was like an amusement park or something.
I played
in
a
part.
dungeon one similar.
Yeah, it's been bugging me because I remember playing that game for hours as a kid, and I cannot recall
No,
the title of it. But
doesn't sound
it's in
familiar
that
to me.
genre of games.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to do some research and see if I can recall anything from playing that. But yeah, the Rebel Assault games 1 and 2.
yeah.
Just all mouse operated. Those were great.
There were so many good games. And I saw recently, and I don't think I brought this up, I don't have this in my stories, so the information itself probably isn't going to be accurate because my memory is totally shot.
Right.
But there was a movement because they're retiring Flash next year. Did you hear, Rem, that they're retiring Flash?
Yeah. I mean, they keep saying that I think Flash has been officially retired for 4 years now, but yeah.
They're going to stop supporting it completely,
Mm-hmm.
which means that all those old Flash games that you used to play in junior high and high school or whenever you were a kid on Newgrounds or wherever you would play them are just going to be not playable anymore.
Right.
That's
Well, unless
kind of
you
depressing.
Yeah, unless you don't have a way to like download the Flash itself and instead of playing it through like a browser.
Yeah, you can't play them through browsers anymore.
Yeah.
However, there was a company or not a company, there was a group of people who decided to save these Flash games. So you can now download a Flash emulator
Mm-hmm.
and like thousands and thousands of old Newgrounds Flash games.
As soon as you tell a bunch of nerds that you're going to stop supporting something, you're going to get a contingent of them that rise up like heroes and find a way to keep the thing alive.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about nerds.
Yeah, and I'm a huge advocate for, and I've talked about this, I know, multiple times, preserving old video games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a really neat. I know there's a lot more important charities out there and there's a lot more things to care about, and I obviously care about other things as well. But that's kind of my pet project that I care about is keeping old video games and old tech secure for newer generations to see where things came from.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I was going to go with a different story, but I led myself into it so perfectly here.
Okay.
There's a project that was launched by Reporters Without Borders and the design collective Blockworks and advertising agency DDB Germany and production company Media Monks, where they built a giant library in Minecraft
Okay.
and went through where you can write books because you can go in Minecraft and write books.
Yeah.
Gives users access to articles banned in 5 countries that rank poorly on the non-governmental organization's World Press Freedom Index.
Interesting.
Egypt, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam. So you can download this library in Minecraft and then go into the library and read and look through the indexes and read articles written by journalists that are banned in your country. So you could live in Vietnam, say, and download this and read a bunch of articles that you couldn't read normally
Wow.
that are just blocked out of your internet.
That's cool.
We are getting closer to Shadowrun every day.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking cool, isn't it?
Like that you're building a virtual library in a kid's game to allow the spread of free information.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all for it. I'm ready to be
I
a
wish we
decker.
weren't so good at coming up with dystopias.
I know we've got a widespread pandemic on our hands. We've got
Virtual libraries. I have a little bit of something for you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Is it space news?
Bucky, you're really burying the lead.
Oh, he can edit it out.
No, it's fine. I'll just go right into my space news.
It's so weird to hear that without the effect.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Astronomers have discovered an All right, let's try that again.
Yes, Remington?
Astronomers have discovered the existence of a supermassive black hole, not a big deal, that looks to be the oldest and most distant of its kind we've ever encountered. Pretty cool, okay. And it just happens to be aiming its bright particle beam directly at the Earth.
Oh, wow.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna die.
So, no, we're not going to die. The newly found supermassive black hole, called a whole lot of numbers, is the most distant blazar ever observed, researchers say. That conclusion is based on the wavelength signature of the object's redshift, a phenomenon scientists use to measure the distance of light-emitting sources in space. Blazars are supermassive black holes that lie in the heart of active galactic nuclei, central regions of galaxies bursting forth with high levels of luminosity and electromagnetic emissions. Among these bright objects, blazars are the brightest of all. And then the one part that I really wanted to find here, let me see if I can find that paragraph again, because of course it's a science article, so it's kind of long and explains a whole bunch of other stuff. Based on their readings, astronomers say that the light we can detect from PSO J0309 plus 27, which is not the full name, that's just half of it.
That's its nickname.
Yeah, was actually emitted almost 13 billion years ago, meaning that the blazar existed in the extremely early stages of the universe, less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang.
See, I believe that the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
That's fair. That's fair. Doesn't mean that everything else in the universe isn't older.
That's fair as well. You got me on a technicality.
While thousands of blazars have been found to date, the exceptional distance and age of PSO blah 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 makes it a remarkable outlier, but that doesn't mean that the object is entirely unique. Because blazars happen to be pointed right at us, we have the opportunity to better analyze their beams. Similarly bright active galactic nuclei. Jesus.
Nuclei. That's not a nuclei.
My voice just wants to go everywhere.
This is a nuclei.
It's because I haven't been the one doing a lot of talking. My voice is not warmed up.
You need to do some tongue exercises because I can help you out.
Yeah, you can. Similarly, bright active galactic nuclei called quasars are inclined at different angles, so their particle beams are more likely to remain hidden from us. The team acknowledges further observations are needed to narrow down just how sizable this hypothetical black hole population might be. In any case, we're looking at an object that's big, important, and new to science. When you're studying supermassive black holes, no discovery is trifling.
So we're going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically
It's
all
going
it's
to
saying.
shoot some terrible radiation at us from across the universe, and it's going to hit us right when the coronavirus gets cured.
There you go.
So we'll all die anyway.
Yay, quasars!
That
Okay,
was a blazar. That sounds like the name of a Pokemon.
Blazar,
It
go!
does, 100%.
Blazar, I choose you.
Blazar.
It's just a Pokemon that smokes a lot of weed.
Blazar.
It's shaped like a weed leaf.
So
they already have that.
Yeah, well, I know they have trash bag Pokemon.
They
and
do.
ice
Yeah,
cream
they
cone
do.
Pokemon.
keys Pokemon.
Trubbish. There's one that's a literal sword.
Yeah. Swordmon.
Sordamon.
Swordio. I don't know his name.
Swordito.
Sordito.
Swordito.
Hola.
That's a good sword.
Okay, so this Blazar gives everybody on Earth superpowers.
Please.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I feel like considering...
Everybody on Earth,
I feel like considering...
including women, Remington.
and
Damn it.
And Asians.
My only weakness. Women and Asians having power. You fucks.
Considering how well everyone's reacting to the coronavirus, I don't think it would be a very good thing to happen.
You don't think so?
No.
If everybody suddenly is super?
Everyone suddenly got superpowers, I feel like there would be a handful of people who'd be like, okay, cool, I'm going to do good with this. And a whole lot of people would be like, I'm going to go fuck some shit up right now.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to go burn everyone's
super,
toilet paper with my heat
no
vision.
one will be.
That's what made me think of it, actually. I was just watching Cinema Wins of The Incredibles and Incredibles 2 a while ago.
I still haven't seen Incredibles 2. Is it good?
I haven't seen it either. I've just seen the first one.
It's okay. The first one is better. The second one is all right. It's a bit of a bummer that there was a big break between the two.
It was, like 10 years?
Yeah, something like that. But not a bad movie by any means.
You would get the people who got the great superpowers, and they would become the rulers of the world. The ones who got, like, the Superman superpowers would be way over top of the people who got like the Aquaman powers or the multiple man powers. You remember Remington a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago at this point, we talked about the Nintendo PlayStation?
Yes.
And how it was going to auction?
Mm-hmm.
It sold for $300,000 at auction with exactly one bidder.
Holy balls.
Yeah, and not as good as I expected it to be, considering the guy who put it up for sale said that in the past couple of years, he's had offers upwards of $1 million to buy it.
Right.
So it really sold for less. Price will be $360,000 after auction fees. And here is a blast from the past for you. The person who bought this is the founder of Pets.com.
Okay.
What?
Pets.com.
I don't know what that is. Can you explain?
It was during the 90s before the big .com bubble burst and everybody stopped making .com websites. Pets.com was like the premier website for getting shit for your pets, like food and toys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They had a little sock puppet dog mascot.
Yeah.
That was like a minor celebrity.
I do remember
you
this
remember?
now. Yes.
So it was like Amazon, but strictly for pet items?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back when everything needed to have a website and it was like the Wild West where they just assumed like, this is never going to run out. We're going to keep putting stuff online forever.
Yeah, now there's Chewy.
And Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon really took up the mantle. But the guy who created Pets.com, his name is Greg McLemer. Or Lemore, but I'm going to call him Greg McLemer because that's more hilarious.
That's fair.
Greg McLemer told Forbes he intends to loan the Nintendo PlayStation to the University of Southern California's Pacific Asia Museum for an exhibit next spring and summer showcasing Asian influence on the video games industry.
That's cool.
That's going to be a pretty big fucking exhibit if it's showcasing Asian influence on the video games
Right.
industry.
Just Pokemon, Final Fantasy, anything else made by Nintendo.
Sony, anything made by Sony.
Yeah. Tetris.
Wasn't Pong invented in America, though?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Tetris, because that's Russian and also in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Konami.
Just all of the different things that are good.
Sega.
Since I'm just throwing out random stories here now, I don't have his name, but the inventor of the Konami code died.
Oh, I heard about that.
If you guys saw that. Next story here. I'm just running through them because we've been going for a while now. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy turned 42 years old.
Nice.
Are you guys a fan of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Have you ever read the books?
I have not read the books. I very much enjoyed the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I have never actually gotten around to reading the books.
Have you seen the movie even?
No, I haven't.
It's good.
I've
It's
wanted
not
to,
as good as the
just-
books, though. I'd recommend reading the books over seeing the movie.
I have the book in an Amazon list. I've been meaning to buy and read, but if I were to buy it, I wouldn't read it. Because
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time.
I don't
That's
know
why
if it would be
I
your...
do audiobooks. Click on the link below for a
Sponsored
link
by Audible.
for a free month of audible.com. Just put in your stuff and get it.
Yeah, get it on Audible and listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would like it, actually. I don't know if
Why?
it would be your sense of humor.
Why?
It's like a really dry British sense of humor.
I mean,
I
it's
can get behind that.
I don't know. I mean, you don't like good stuff most of the time.
Yeah, like it is legitimately funny, so I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse.
Okay, then.
Chad, you've read the books?
Thanks for not picking on me anymore, guys.
Shut
Well,
up,
we'll get
Asian
back
hater.
to it. I read the first one quite a while ago. I got about halfway through the second one, and it's a series that I intend to go back and revisit, and I just keep finding new things to read.
Yeah.
I kind of had an existential crisis moment around this time last year when I was in a big bookstore, and I did that normal thing of I kind of have one or two things on my mind when I'm going through a bookstore, but then I'm also filing things away in the back of my brain to go check out later. And I kind of almost had to sit down right in the middle of the aisle because I just had that thought. It hit me over the head like a dictionary of, you're not going to get to all these in your lifetime. The time you have left to read all these things is dwindling.
Yeah.
And so...
You know what'll help out with that, Chad? Audible.com.
So I like his writing. I do like that dry British style of humor.
Mhm.
Obviously a very intelligent man. I do like his books. I had good memories of the movie adaptation with Alan Rickman as the voice of the robot.
Yeah.
And everything. I recently rewatched that, and it didn't. To me, it did not hold up so well.
It doesn't hold up as well as, like, you can watch the British TV show that they did, the miniseries, and the
Which I
British
haven't seen
miniseries
that.
is pretty good too.
I haven't seen that. I've kind of meant to, but just haven't gotten around to it.
Along with, like, the Roberta Williams King's Quest stuff, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was a big influential part of my teen years. I feel like in making me who I am and the things that I enjoy and still enjoy to this day, the types of humor that I enjoy. Like, are you familiar with why 42 is such a number related to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah, it's the answer to meaning in the universe or something.
The life, the universe, and everything, yeah. Douglas Adams was asked many times why he chose the number 42. Many theories were proposed, including that 42 is 10-10-10 in base 2 binary code, that light refracts through a water surface by 42 degrees to create a rainbow, that light requires 10 to 42 seconds to cross the diameter of a proton. Adams rejected them all. On November 3rd, 1933,
he said, "Fuck you."
On November 3rd, 1993, not 1933, he gave this answer on alt.fan.douglasadams in 1993. So that's where the internet was in 1993.
Nice.
Alt.fan.douglasadams. The answer to this is very simple. It was a joke. It had to be a number, an ordinary smallish number, and I chose that one. Binary representations, base 13, Tibetan monks are all complete nonsense. I sat at my desk, stared into the garden, and thought, 42 will do. I typed it out. End of story.
And then he's actually right.
Yeah.
I do appreciate just the plethora of fan interpretations of 42 and how it works into all these interpretations of why it could be the universal answer. I think it's a testament to his fan base.
Oh, absolutely.
For being that involved in the fiction and coming up with their own theories that actually play out. So it's definitely a mark in his favor that he appeals to the kind of people who will look for meaning in those numbers.
Yeah.
And disseminate that information. Every time I run across a new one, I'll always be like, that's a fun way to look at that.
So, yeah, that's all the stories I have. I think we've been going pretty decent amount of time. We're going 2 hours.
One more that you might like.
Yeah, what do you got?
I mean, it's episode 200. We can go.
Yeah.
We can just go.
Go till midnight.
We can go until the coronavirus threat has lifted.
That's right, because we're all quarantined now.
Yay.
There's not enough toilet paper in this room. I feel like we're going to...
I think I have enough toilet paper.
It's the words of a confident man.
I'm a confident man in a confident woman's body.
Strong enough for a man, but clearly for
pH
Remington.
balanced for a woman.
Anyway, Brandon, you're a big Elder Scrolls fan.
I love Elder Scrolls.
Chad, do you enjoy and partake in the Elder Scrolls world?
I know it exists.
Oh,
You son of a bitch.
get out now.
I know it exists, but I have absolutely no interest in your piddly games.
And your scrolls or your elders.
Have you seen the parody on YouTube, the Senile Scribbles?
I've seen them linked as like something that I would enjoy, but I haven't watched them.
The
now.
name is just perfect. Anyway, there was a leak on Reddit about the Elder Scrolls 6. Now, because it was a supposed leak and may or may not be true, take this with a grain or bucket of salt.
Okay.
But the release year was supposedly revealed as 2025,
Jesus.
which would make it a 14-year gap since the last Elder Scrolls game, Skyrim, would have would be released.
Yeah.
Fusroda!
Yeah, that one. And then where it takes place within the Elder Scrolls world, which would be High Rock and Hammerfell,
Okay.
which from the 30-second trailer from a couple E3s ago, that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Supposedly
looked
that
like
was
it.
Yakuta, which was the ancient home of the Redguard people.
Oh, really? I thought Yakuta was like the Akaviri.
No, that's the other side of Tamriel.
Yeah. This is all Greek to everybody else listening.
And-
Soy no habla geek.
And the name of the game will be supposedly called The Elder Scrolls 6 Redfall,
What do you think of that as a title?
the title.
Yeah.
I have no feelings on it one way or the other.
I would say that I thought that they were naming things after the place in which the game took place, because you have Morrowind, you have Skyrim, but you also have Arena
Yeah.
and Oblivion.
And Daggerfall.
Well, that's a place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
They don't have a specific naming convention.
Yeah. So, it makes sense. It sounds like it would be a DLC,
Yeah.
just based on other past Elder Scrolls DLC naming conventions.
Redfall
But,
sounds more like a code name than an actual name though.
yeah, that might not be the official one,
Yeah.
but I doubt they're going to call it The Elder Scrolls 6 High Rock and Hammerfell.
The Elder Scrolls 6 Yakuba.
Yakuta.
Yakuba.
Yakuza!
Da 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 da. Yakuba.
I was going to make a joke, but I feel like no one else would get it. So
That's
Good.
fair.
you might, but
I don't get jokes no more.
Chad, did you bring anything fun to the table?
Oh, gosh.
Don't tell me that you didn't prepare something.
Oh, bleh. I think we kind of discussed most of what I had prepared in my head. I know I had
yeah.
a couple other things that I've promptly forgotten.
I mean, you don't have to bring anything. It's fine.
Let's see.
Shit, I closed my notes.
Where's
Damn
some
it,
other
Brandon.
issues?
Why would you do such a thing?
I did have a couple things that I thought you might find interesting. Remember what they are.
Listen, don't
Like-
put ideas into my head. The Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is available to buy now earlier than expected.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I've seen that was kind of interesting is Disney releasing a lot of things early,
Mm-hmm.
especially on Disney Plus, just as a, hey, we know it sucks everyone's getting quarantined, so here, have Frozen 2 3 weeks early, have Rise of Skywalker early. So see, Disney's cementing themselves as our benevolent overlord.
Yeah.
did you see Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of it?
There are certain elements in Rise of Skywalker that I liked,
Mhm.
but it felt way too much like J.J. Abrams saying, I'll preface this with saying my favorite joke about it was the credit card that somebody came up with that was written and produced by Reddit, done in the official Star Wars
Yeah.
end credit font. And to a degree, I feel like that is true.
Yeah.
That J.J. Abrams said, oh man, we better get back to everything that the internet says made Star Wars great, and then promptly tried to make everybody happy and delivered a subpar product.
Dumpster
doing
fire
so.
of a product.
No, it
So-
was not a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
The Last Jedi was a dumpster fire.
Double dumpsters.
Last Jedi was okay.
I
I liked
parts
Last
of it,
Jedi.
and there are moments in it that are probably some of my favorite moments in Star Wars. But overall, it was just
There are things
weak
I
to
think
me.
you could have taken out of The Last Jedi and made it a better movie.
a whole subplot.
Yes.
The Canto Bite.
Yes.
Is that the
That's the casino planet.
Yeah.
that didn't do a damn thing for the whole movie.
What I did like about that movie, I don't think you could really call this part of the Canto Bite sequence because it's after all of that.
The kid.
I really did like the kid not doing the thing with like summoning the broom to his hand, but
Turning and it kind of.
when the kid is there with his friends and it doesn't give you subtitles, you don't understand the language they're speaking, but you can clearly see that they are using handmade dolls to tell a legendary story about Luke Skywalker.
Mhm.
And that scene right there gets across without dialogue the enduring aspects of the Skywalker legacy and Star Wars in general is the passed on by word of mouth. Oh, Master Skywalker stood up to this and, saved the galaxy. That kind of thing I really, really love. And it really touched on that touchstone of the mythos at the heart of what makes Star Wars important. And then J.J. Abrams promptly shat on that and a lot of other things.
I feel like that specific scene, it still has merit. As
like that scene does have merit. But
it was a great scene. That the shot at the very end of the kid holding the broom, turning, and the moonlight reflecting off the handle to make it look like a lightsaber, kind of. That is probably one of my favorite just shots of Star Wars, because every kid has done that after seeing Star Wars.
Mhm.
I did that after seeing Star Wars for the first time. So,
the many problems that cascaded from Rise of Skywalker, it felt like 2 movies worth of information crammed into one, and not very well. The first 30 minutes of that movie, you feel like you've taken methamphetamine or something because
it does move at like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
The whole Rey being a Palpatine, I think, is just a bunch of hot garbage.
I didn't mind
Because,
that.
honest to God, given all the plot points that Palpatine went through in order to engineer the rise of the Sith, who the hell has time to be married? And
He wasn't.
and also do that.
They revealed in the official novel of The Rise of Skywalker, the Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker is not the actual Palpatine. He is a clone. And the person who was Rey's father is not Palpatine's son. It is a failed clone of Palpatine that didn't have the Force. But after Palpatine was yeeted down the Death Star shaft.
That was the other thing I was going to try and do this episode, was work one of Remington's favorite words into it.
Yeah. I was going to say it more, but no. But anyway, he threw...
You motherfuckers right out of my podcast.
Once he was yoked down the...
Yes.
See, I like the past tense. I like the past tense usage. I'm okay with that.
When Darth Vader yoked Palpatine down the shaft of the Death Star.
Yoke and shaft. 2 favorite words now.
Yep. He, through the Force, transferred his consciousness to the facility on Exegol. And they started attempting to clone him. His son was not actually his son, the failed clone that couldn't use the Force, but he saw the potential for creating offspring that could have the Force, which obviously they did. And then Snoke was also a failed clone that Palpatine saw a use for in connecting with Ben Solo.
See, this might have been interesting stuff to have put in the fucking movie.
I know.
Yes,
I
exactly.
know. Instead of, how are
we going to sell more books? Yeah.
3 months after the fact, you discover that he's a clone. I think it was actually the first major it being known that Palpatine was a clone came from Ian McDiarmid at a con.
Yeah.
Someone asked him and he said it. But then everyone got the book and looked into it further and discovered all this.
What bugs me about the whole Palpatine subplot in The Rise of Skywalker, there are certain aspects of that play to Palpatine's rise to power and his ego, but they went very superficial with his reasoning.
Mhm.
Like his whole... Because Disney, when they got a hold of all of the canon control... And then
promptly deleted it.
And you saw that they were building up some of the better parts that had already been invented by other authors and reestablishing them as canon. You saw a very controlling hand that was kind of taking the stories in a decent direction. Yeah. But a lot of that plot had to do with the Emperor wanting to break open the secrets of the dark side of the Force. And the Empire was his engine for basically controlling the galaxy so that nobody was going to interfere with him while he did that. And one of his orders, one of his contingency plans was basically that if he were to die, he was going to take the entire galaxy down with him. But then they completely supersede that with his whole clone and the idea of the final order.
Yeah.
And the final order just makes no freaking sense because I'm looking at it from a logistics standpoint and thinking like, oh, I've got all this empire doing all these
unlimited power.
things, but now I'm going to build a second one with blackjack and hookers, and every Star Destroyer is going to have a Death Star built into it. And where did I come up with all the people to do this? It doesn't matter.
The Stormtrooper armor is red now for some reason. Unlimited power.
See, I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. Still haven't watched it.
I enjoyed it.
I'm
I
glad we
really
rubbed
loved
your
it.
face and all these spoilers.
Well, I already knew the spoilers. I knew that Rey was a Palpatine, and that's like the big spoiler of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Our friend Kevin had told me that it came to Disney Plus on the 20th of this month, the day that it was supposed to release on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was also coming to Disney Plus. So I was super, super excited for that, and then I found out that it's not coming for another probably 3 or 4 months to Disney Plus.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, if
It'll
I get-
release in the
when
summer.
I get the Blu-ray, I'll send you the digital code.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
What I really would have preferred to see, honestly, is a lot more along the lines of the more mythic take on Star Wars. Like, yeah, go ahead and make your like more mundane, down to earth heroes of the Resistance have to take on what's left of the First Order, but at the same time take your more mystical aspects of like Rey and General Organa and make them the ones who have to stand up to the more mythic threat of Palpatine. And not just because Palpatine is still survived somehow and now he's made Empire 2.0, but make it that he has cracked some sort of deep secret about the dark side of the Force. And so you always, that's what made the original movies to me stand out so much, was that you had like the physical side and the spiritual side of things. So you had the physical heroes like Han and Leia standing up against the physical threats of the Empire. But then you had Luke, who had to stand against the spiritual threat of Vader and the Emperor.
Yeah.
Split that between those two things. Don't make Palpatine just, here's my second try at this. I think I worked out the kinks the first time before I died. Let's go. Let's restart the game.
I don't mind the bringing Palpatine back because he's like the pinnacle of how many thousands of years of Sith and dark side knowledge in one being. Like his contingency plans have contingency plans. He probably has a plan for what to do. He probably in the days of the Empire had a plan for what to do, just laying on a shelf if he found something that could magically give Darth Vader back his actual limbs. I know his reasoning for doing that, but he probably had that thought in mind. He's not a dumb guy. But to me right now, with the ending of that movie, it's hard to believe that he didn't have a plan in place if his granddaughter, Rey, decided to be like, nah, I'm not going to help you. Because like his whole plan seemed to be that if he was not able to take over her body, it failed. There was nothing he could do about it. The only reason he was able to do what he did was because Rey and Ben were a dyad in the Force, and he was able to suck their power. That's the only way he was able to do what he did. And he somehow didn't account for that.
Well, it's because he didn't watch that episode of The Mandalorian. He didn't.
He didn't know about Force healing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. What a great episode.
It's a whole thing. I'm interested to see where they go forward with this. I hope they make it better.
I mean, I'm hoping for a good product out of Kenobi.
It will be. It has to. If they fuck up Kenobi, do you know how many pissed off fans are going to? Like,
Well, that's all the new trilogy was. It was them doing a dry run of what fans were going to do when they got angry about things.
What I don't understand are the people who said, "Oh, you can't introduce a new Force power in a Star Wars movie." Like, yeah, you fucking can.
Yeah.
That's what the whole original trilogy was. Before Star Wars, there were no Force powers. So what do you? That's the whole thing. If you can't introduce a new Force power, what's the point?
You guys are boring me to death.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't sleep well, sorry.
There we've caught Rem's feelings on the
Yep.
Force.
Yeah. Okay, for
strong with
the listeners at home, if you
heard that.
edit that out,
snore.
that was Remington literally falling asleep in his chair to this conversation.
You have to leave that in now.
That was good. Because I heard myself do it, and I was like, oh, there it is. Because I was listening to you guys, but I did not sleep well, so my eyes are tired, and I've got something
you
in
just
one, and
find us
I was
boring.
just like,
You just
nope,
find Star Wars boring.
checking out.
Let's see, what we should have done is we should have talked about space politics.
There you go.
Yeah, you would have loved that.
Riveted.
God.
I've watched
No, not the prequels, just Star Trek.
Oh, that's all it is.
Yes. I don't know. The movies were pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you?
It's not, but Enterprise or Next Gen has a lot of it for sure.
So
That's
Rem.
the Picard one.
Yes.
Okay.
So Rem,
Yes.
have you seen any of Picard?
No.
It's a streaming service only thing, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
CBS All Access.
I don't
think.
have streaming
So dumb.
services at all, except for Prime, just because I have Amazon Prime. So
If
or,
I had my
video,
own
whatever
Disney
they call
Plus,
it.
I'd give you my Disney Plus account, but I'm bumming it off my roommate. So
That's fair.
I have a Disney Plus account I can give you a code for.
doesn't Brandon have one too?
I might
Yeah,
also,
but I'm already
I might
sharing
also
mine.
give you, I think I've,
You can share with multiple people.
yeah, I can get you one for Picard too, for CBS.
Oh, do you have CBS also?
One of my family members does. So we've all just been using that. But I like what I've seen so far.
Do you?
Yep.
I haven't really spoiled myself on it because it's not. I've heard some good things and some bad things, but I haven't been paying close enough attention to really spoil anything for myself.
It's definitely a little more action oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And they do talk space politics, so you're not entirely out in the action universe, but I would probably enjoy certain aspects of it more if I had more of a Star Trek background. I just have never stuck with one of the seasons for a really long time.
Yeah.
So there are definite callbacks to previous characters, previous events. There is a big undercurrent running through the series about the Borg and a captured Borg cube that's being re-engineered.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely got a lot of good stuff in there for longtime Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
And Picard himself is just very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
An excellent actor revisiting one of his roles.
Yeah. One of the defining roles of his career. Yeah.
Means Patrick Stewart. Where can you go wrong?
Yep.
It would only be better if Ian McKellen was in it.
What I love about
That could happen.
What
at
I
this
love
point.
about the Star Trek universe, especially at Next Gen, are kind of the stories that the cast has, because they did that for a long time. And I remember, they get Patrick Stewart on, and he's this big Shakespearean actor and well known in that kind of a circuit. And originally, the cast members will talk fondly about how he was a real stick in the mud, while they were all joking and ribbing each other and et cetera and so on. And then he ended up becoming one of the worst about just picking on people and having fun. And it's the background stories that make it that much more enjoyable for me.
You ought to see if you can look up that. You might be able to find it if somebody hasn't taken it down. Just a few seconds of Picard discussing what he loves about harvest time.
Brandon, there you go. There's some riveting information for you.
Yeah,
right there.
seriously.
Oh,
I'm on the edge of my fucking seat with this one.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's like maybe a 15 to 20 second speech that he gives about what he's going to miss about France by going back into space, because he's on. He's retired. He was basically given an ultimatum from Starfleet over an intergalactic disaster, so he leaves Starfleet. And so for the past who knows how many years, he's been on his wine plantation in France. He's been staying out of the political spotlight. He really kind of has built up a lot of contempt for the people who run Starfleet now because they did not see eye to eye over this humanitarian disaster. And then when he's given a chance to try and make amends to certain people who were affected by this and to go make a difference in the circumstances that led up to this awful event, he's kind of looking at the life that he sort of built up for himself by running around doing all this stuff on behalf of Starfleet and then finally retired, but there's still a part of him that wants to go back to the stars and is never going to be completely at home on his little wine plantation that he's carved out for himself on Earth that he thought was always going to be the end of his life. And just him talking about as much as he's going to go do this, and that's where his heart is, it's in the stars. There's a part of him that he's probably going to leave behind there on Earth that he might never come back to.
Yeah.
And it's a hell of a speech from Patrick Stewart.
Do you think they'll kill him off?
I don't know.
I mean, it's called Picard, so I wouldn't think so.
They could. He could have a kid.
I mean, there's no real indications that I haven't kept up with a lot of news on it or anything. There's no indications that they're considering a second season or a continuation of this. So maybe it is just going to be a self-contained one season series. I don't know.
Yeah. It's the only reason to get CBS All Access right now, really.
Mm-hmm.
Is to watch Picard.
Wasn't there Star Trek Discovery? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was it any good? I heard it was absolute crap.
I haven't watched it.
I have heard that it wasn't very good.
Like, the best I've heard is that it was mediocre.
Yeah.
At best.
I just got into Star Trek with the Star Trek movies. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would like Next Generation at all. So, really, I'm going to stop after I watch these Star Trek movies. I like the Captain Kirk versions.
Mm-hmm. Then just watch the J.J. Abrams ones.
I'll have to revisit some of the next gen movies that you might enjoy.
I still remember First Contact being the very first movie I saw in the Regal Theater.
Yeah.
In its new location.
Yeah.
Because I always felt a little more of a connection to next gen just because
that's what
I thought it was cooler to have the Borg were the enemies of the Federation, and if I ever had a connection to the older generations of Star Trek, it was through some of the animated series that I remember watching as a kid.
Really? Yeah. The animated Star Trek?
Yeah.
Like the old animated Star Trek?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Hanna-Barbera, I think it was.
Yep.
All right. Well, you want to call it there, Em?
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up episode 200. Thank you all for riding this train into the ground with us. I hope you all stay safe and healthy and have all of the toilet paper needs that you ever desired. Future reference for any pandemics, you can probably save yourself some trouble by buying a fucking bidet. Or perhaps realizing that you can use a washcloth and then wash it. Most washers and dryers do a fine job at removing poop from items of clothing and washing.
This is the most alive I've seen you this entire podcast is with this discussion right now. I know this.
It's like everyone stop buying fucking toilet paper.
I know this because I use it to take care of people who happen to have accidents sometimes. And you gotta wash that stuff and it washes out. So save yourself some trouble exposing yourself to a bunch of other people as you all rush to get fucking toilet paper for no goddamn reason.
Well, if I run out of toilet paper, I'll just go to CVS and buy a Snickers bar.
There you go.
Enough for 4 shits with that one receipt.
If you have any questions or comments or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978 DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. I actually forgot to tell you that we got a call, but they didn't leave a message, and I'm pretty sure it was just a wrong number.
Are you sure it wasn't somebody who had some really important information about your podcast's warranty and that it was about to expire.
Actually, I know who that call was, and this isn't a joke. It was my younger brother.
Oh, really?
I gave him the number, and I was like, please, nobody's going to call us. Call us and leave us a nice message or something, or ask a question or something.
Uh-huh.
So he messaged me last night and was like, I called your number, but I freaked out and hung up before the guy left a message because I didn't know what to say. So that's who it was.
Well, was that Cody?
Yeah, it was Cody.
Well, thank you, Cody, for giving it a try, at least. I appreciate the effort and supporting your big brother like that.
Yeah.
You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page like These Nice People. Brandon, go.
We got a comment from Negalary.
Negalary.
Who said, I listened to this and it was the best podcast I heard all afternoon. Thank you, Larry. Wonderfully produced, brilliantly written, well-researched, many waggle-worthy discussions.
I feel like he was just blowing smoke up her ass about halfway through that.
Yeah, I feel like it too, but I'll take smoke up my ass all day.
Yeah.
There's not much No, never mind.
Next one.
We also got a comment from Ben Knopp, who said, I just want to say I've been caught up for a while now, and listening to episodes back to back, the difference in the editing has improved drastically over the years. That's awesome. Thank you. Now about this episode. SWAT Cats for the win. Loved that show when I was younger. Thanks for the bit of nostalgia. As far as favorite dino, well, as a kind of steady player of Ark Survival Evolved, I would say either Casteroides or Ankylosaurus. Keep up the great work, guys. So thank you for that, Ben. And our final comment is from Viscount Terry W. Irvin II, who says, I think it's kind of important to actually know the name of a dinosaur if it's going to be your favorite, right? I think that's a dig at me because I didn't remember the name of my favorite dinosaur.
Right, yeah, a little bit.
Mine is the Stegosaurus, by the way. Came to be so from watching Fantasia as a kid, where the Stegosaurus valiantly battled the T-Rex. Chad, I know you mentioned that. Also, the original King Kong is a good watch and has actually held up pretty well over time. So thank you, everybody, for the comments. Hopefully we get some comments on this latest episode 200, and you don't fall asleep like Remington did.
There's just something about those two talking to each other. Their voices are very soothing.
Bucky and Chad.
Chad's is.
You're saying
It's
my
just like a knife going straight into your eardrums.
and you're saying my voice isn't soothing?
Your voice is soothing in a way that keeps me awake.
Okay.
All right.
Make sure to subscribe on our website, duelingogres.com, for new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Forgot how to mouth there for a second. Also, make sure to hit us up on Patreon and give us $1.
Yeah, just give us a fucking dollar.
Just give us $1 a month. You too could feed 8 pets. Help feed 8 pets for just $1 a month.
You really have 8 pets, don't you?
I do. I have 8 pets. There's 9 animals in this house right now because we're babysitting one right now.
That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So a mere $1 a month is more than enough to keep my pets fed.
It's kind of rough to refer to Ginger that way.
If there's a lot of dollars to come in anyway.
I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to say it.
That grain-free food is expensive. I would also like to thank all of the patrons, 2 of which are in this room right now.
Yeah.
They are.
That's how we thank our patrons.
We let them onto the podcast.
If you're in West Virginia and you're a patron, you can come to Remington's house.
But I'm
See
in
his 8
Ohio and I'm a
pets.
patron.
I mean, if you physically are traveling through West Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, you're also denying the orders of your state governor by being here.
That's
so
true.
I'm not sure if you're ever going to be back here again.
You have disobeyed me for the last time. Force choke.
From the
Ohio's
state house
governor
in
is-
Columbus, Ohio.
The Ohio's governor is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
No, it's Sheev.
Oh, Sheev.
And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can find a podcast. You can even find some. I'm under TikTok even as Dueling Ogres. So, I mean.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna make a dumb TikTok?
I mean, I have TikToks.
Do you need me to do the
I have
floss?
like 5 of them, I think, up there. One of them is actually the excerpt from the new episode. You may have caught on the social medias that I did like a little excerpt video.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was neat. It's a new, relatively new thing that Libsyn kind of partnered up with this headliner app, which I think I've seen other podcasters who we know use already. I just never actually knew what it was and had been too busy to put any time into it. So.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
But yeah, it's really quick. It's a nice way to get little excerpts out, and I will probably put out a couple of excerpts from this, maybe before it actually launches, just to bury the lead a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look forward to that, including this explanation, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this will be its own thing.
Yeah.
We just got to make it funny. Somebody say a joke.
Apples.
Penis apples.
It's
I have a
perfect.
pen.
Listen, I have a penis. I have an apple. Penis, apple, pen. Okay.
All right.
Toss
I'm
a
proud of you
coin
guys.
to your ogre.
That was for the Patreon section. You missed your opportunity.
Yeah. You failed me for the last time, Chad. Force joke.
Sheath. You're going to get yoted.
That's what editing is for.
So until next week, ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusk sharp. Good night.
Hey, everybody did it all in tandem?
Yeah, that was
Do you
good.
care if I do the plugs and you
What?
can cut 'em in?
Oh, God damn it. Bucky, hold on. Bucky's got plugs. He wanted
Yeah.
to plug, and then he didn't jump in, and he didn't do any good plugging. So now he's got to
you were
get the good
talking
plug
so
in.
fast.
You gotta get in there, Bucky.
I'm
you gotta
sorry.
slide in like a ninja, and you
I have
just gotta
to grease it up and slide it in the nerd hole.
Yep, and then blast it off into oblivion. All right, go.
I want to plug my Instagram, Bucky the Blacksmith, and then I have my roommate does Etsy stuff and 3D printing. His Instagram is Crusader_Designs 1939, and then his. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm trying to help a friend. You're being a dick.
Okay, what was it again?
What was it again?
Crusader_Design. I knew you were going to do that.
Crusader_Design
1939.
1939.
And then his Etsy shop is etsy.com/shop/Crusader prop displays.
Well, while we're sucking everybody else's dick, Chad, is there anybody else you want to plug?
Oh, well, I have no social media presence other than random sporadic appearances on Facebook. One of these days, I will get around to creating a shop or something so I can actually showcase things I'm working on.
Yeah, you
But,
should get an Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
That's
would
what
be-
Instagram is for.
That's what it's all about,
Okay.
man.
It's
That's
for
where
that and
Instagram's
ass
at.
pics.
Mm-hmm.
The Dueling Ogres Instagram is full of
Aw.
ass pics.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on,
Thank
got you, Brandon.
Bucky
That's
left
what,
me
see,
hanging.
that's why we're
Oh,
friends.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice.
I was like this.
Sorry. There you
Yeah. Also, you can find me on Twitter at cranial_kitten
Yeah,
or on Instagram at @thefullbrandon.
yeah,
go. Plugs for days.
yep.
Always be plugging.
So until next week, Ogres,
For real this time.
keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusk sharp.
Good
night.
That was just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
Because we helped out my friend.
Pretty sure
To
that's not
5
why.
people.
You're not allowed to make those jokes, Bucky.
Even though they're true.
that cuts deep.
I'm sorry.
I don't appreciate
I'm sorry, Ron.
Get the
I
fuck
didn't
out of
mean
here, Bucky.
to- Okay,
Yeah,
bye.
we're done with you.
Oh, I'm gonna go home and cry now.
Good.
I'm gonna go get.
You need to look up.
And we need to show Brandon the Pragananant thing.
Pragananant.
Can I get Pragnan?
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that Brandon hasn't seen that.
I
too.
know it's so
as much
stupid.
as he likes memes.
I love memes.
Nope.
Am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? Am I pargant? Am I gregnant? Am I pegnate? Help? Is there a possibility that I'm pegrant? Am I pregnant or am I okay? Could I be pregonate? How do I know if I'm prengan? Can I be pregnant? Can oo get pregante? Can oo bleed while oo are pergert? Can oo down a 20-foot water slide pegnat? How can I get my GF pregnant? What happened when get perginat? How can a 9-year-old get pregnant? Will I get pregnant? What is the best time to sex to become pregnant? Does anyone know how many teens get pregnant a year? Are these systems of being pregnant? Girlfriend ain't had periods since she got pregat. Is it possible having sex to a 8 months pregnant? If a woman has starch marks on her... Wait. If a woman has starch masks on her body, does that mean she has been pregnant before? Period, question mark. I circle as normal, but yet I still don't get pregnant. What can I use? Period, question mark. Has anybody got pregnant by just pre-cum while using birth control? Did most you women feel pregnant before find out? I am pregnant last 5 weeks, so can I start sex? Danger ops, pregnant sex. Will it hurt baby top of his head? Me and my boyfriend are trying to get pregnant, and haven't took my birth control in 12 days. 38 plus 2 weeks. Pregnant? I think my dog is pregnant. Can I get pregnant if he had a condom on? How long can Ugo being pregnant to get an abortion? I think I'm pregnant with my 14th child.
I've seen that Pregananant video I don't know how many times, and it always makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah. And it's never not hilarious.
I know.
The fact that you even drink Bud Light, just whap.
It's true. Why?
It's because it costs like 3 cents for 5. And
Listen, man, if you're going to drink beer, you should treat yourself and just buy the expensive stuff.
But what about when I can't afford the expensive stuff?
Then you don't get beer.
Fair enough.
And that means you're not working hard enough and you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps until you can buy the expensive stuff again. It's the social grease on the capitalism wheels that drive us all down the road towards eventual disaster.
Are you recording yet?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's going to definitely be an out-of-context outtake.
Yeah.
Get on board the capitalism train, Bucky.
Did you see about Putin? Apparently, he's passing a bill to let him run for re-election again.
Though he's already passed it.
Yeah.
He's in for another 12 years.
Yeah.
With the option to be in for even longer after those 12 years are up.
Yeah. Because he's a bad guy.
He's such a good leader.
Because, we got bad blood.
Okay, T-Swift.
That's the only part of the song I know. And we got sad blood. And we got rad blood.
Just blood surfing. I'm just picturing a blood cell just on a surfboard.
That's some rad blood.
Did she write the song after a friend introduced her to Parlor LARPs? It's like, hey, T-Swift, here's Vampire the Masquerade. I just got the rule book. Let's try this out. Didn't understand it at all. Just wrote a pop song about it.
Man, Vampire the Masquerade seems like I would try LARPing before I would try Vampire the Masquerade. And on the hierarchy of nerddom, LARPing is above. I feel like Vampire the Masquerade is above LARPing on the hierarchy of nerddom, though.
I don't even know
Or
what Vampire
below.
the Masquerade is, so.
You just hate 10-sided dice.
No, I just don't want to sit around in a room with other people pretending to be like, let's suck blood now.
Because
I want to suck
that's
your
what they
dick.
do.
I mean your blood.
I've seduced you with my vampiric powers.
Never
like
mind,
that-
there's like 13 different houses and they all have
It's like that
distinct
episode of
abilities.
Smallville where there was the sorority house that were vampires.
I was thinking of that as soon as you said you were rewatching Smallville.
And they had a pizza guy deliver pizza and they bit his dick while he was in the hot tub.
What?
Yeah. That was the cold open of the show.
Oh my
Why they
God.
bite his
Smallville
dick?
got really freaking weird.
That's dumb.
It was.
Like, what has Superman not faced yet?
Vampires. That aren't actually vampires because it was
Of
a
course.
disease created by LexCorp. I
Of
think.
course.
That's so stupid.
I watched it like last weekend and I can't remember.
So they bite his dick?
Well, they're seducing him so that they can suck his blood. and one of them just goes under the water of the hot tub, and then you just see him in pain, and then there's just blood in the water. Because it's the CW, and they can't actually show it.
Yeah, they can't show a sorority co-ed biting a dude's dick off.
Yeah, then Lana Lang joined that. I hated her so much.
I mean,
She was such a shit character after like season 3.
I guess the implication could be that she bit his penis. But I mean, she could have bit his thigh.
Yeah, but that's where the most blood would have been.
My money's on thigh because if you're a vampire, you're going to go after the femoral artery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My money's on
Same.
penis.
Bucky,
I'm sorry.
this is a podcast.
I know. My grandpa
Tell Grandpa
called
to
me.
come back.
I'm going
Back.
to. I apologize.
I hear myself, so it's throwing me off.
Okay.
Call back.
Yeah, that yell was a little weird.
Grandpa, I'm having a recording. I don't care if you're having a heart attack.
Okay, now I feel bad for not answering.
You should. You
You
should always.
asshole.
You should always answer your grandpa.
I don't think I like these.
Give me another one. I gotta be sure. Give me 12 more. I have to be sure.
Give him the whole sack.
Silent nod.
Great for audio.
Just all the implications. We know that's not the only time it's been said.
Not in this room.
And that one right past that door.
That one too.
Do it right into the mic for an outtake.
There's no way I'm leaving that in.
Come on, Brian. Leave it in the mouth noises.
Hang on.
Oh no, Chad's doing
Hang on.
it.
Can we all do it at the same time?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I still have one.
If all of us do that, you have to leave it in for an outtake.
Don't tell him how to edit.
I know, but he has to.
This feels almost cultish.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
That's gonna sound disgusting.
It's stuck in my teeth. And just get this. Get my tongue up. Oh,
Oh, yeah, space change.
that was a good one. Oh, good one.
That's why I'm absolutely not leaving it in.
For an outtake, though.
Mouth noises? Nobody wants to
Yes.
hear mouth noises.
Everybody wants to hear mouth noises.
Yeah.
In your headphones?
Uh huh.
This is the kind of bonus content that really sells the Patreon, Brandon.
Only Chad and I get
Oh my
this
god!
content.
I can't wait! I can't wait for Larry to listen to it on his new headphones that I just got him to buy.
That's fucking great.
They're like they're noise canceling Shure headphones or earbuds. They're $100.
Those ones who sponsored you
No, they're not.
at one point.
These are recommended by a voiceover artist.
Quick question though about sponsorships.
Uh-huh.
How come you guys haven't been sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends yet? Because apparently that's everyone is sponsored by them.
Yeah, seriously.
Because I don't care about Raid, so why?
No one else does either. But they give you money.
But I play it.
Do you really? I do. All right. Well, I'll get a sponsorship just for Chad then.
Yeah.
Get a hold of him. Contact Mr.
Mr.
Shadow
Raid,
Legends.
Mr. Shadow,
Mr. Legends. First name
Mr.
Raid.
Legends.
Yeah, Mr. Legends
Dear
for
Mr. Legends.
Hey Rem, what's up?
That's his voice.
Hey guys.
Hey, it's me, Mr. Legend.
What's that? You need a sponsorship? Sure. Here's all the money.
Here's $12 million.
Just make sure people get all the raids.
Have you heard about those shadows?
Remember that.
They're legendary.
Remember that you can't see your shadow in a mirror because it's the absence of light.
Oh fuck. Shower thoughts for days, bitches.
Why does yours sound more like Trump?
Now, see,
That's
No, okay.
not nice.
Mr. Pence
No.
would have...
He would have electrocuted you. We would have had to build a wall in between us.
You're really reaching back there, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Wasn't that like the first year?
Yes.
Well, if everybody would have just gotten behind me on this wall project, then we wouldn't have had this corona issue.
I hate this room.
Me too. I hate.
Well, then leave.
I hate
would rather
50% of the people in here right now.
I would rather listen to 5 straight hours of mouth noises and Foley that I could not escape from than
that.
Yeah.
that.
What's that fucking word that you said earlier, Chad, that you already picked out?
Virulent.
Okay. Yeah, don't think I didn't notice. I just couldn't remember what it was. I don't remember how to spell that. That's going to be interesting. Don't tell me yet. I'll figure it out.
It starts with a B.
No, it definitely does.
Virulent.
Yeah.
Is that why you gave this stick to me so I could
Hit Bucky?
hit Bucky with it?
No, but you're welcome.
I'll put my hand here. So whenever I say something dumb. Oh, God damn it.
Don't tempt me.
Oh, good.
Boy.
Oh.
That's what happens when you force it, Bucky.
Yeah, I know. Just hope I don't cough. I hope no one in here is carrying the coronavirus, because then all of us are getting sick.
Oh, for sure.
And I will die.
Yeah, you will.
Is that right?
Close. Think of virus.
I was going to say, yeah, you're immunocompromised, aren't you?
Why is it not?
Because my heart.
Why is it not checking it though?
Because it's
You
word.
after the R. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I know.
I told
but
you
why-
not to tell him.
But
I gave him
because
20 seconds.
well, Brandon told me virus, so I knew it was a U instead. But I wonder why it's not marking it wrong. That's what I find.
Maybe virulent is a word.
He
Maybe.
gave up.
Spelled with an I. Yeah, it's just
Maybe.
like,
I don't know
I've
what
done
that
it
is.
too many times.
I don't know what that is.
don't know.
Tried to help Rem all this time. I give up now.
Yeah,
I almost went into a Nick Cage impression. But I
Nick
was like, no.
Cage. I don't know. I can't do Nick Cage. Nick Cage. It's me,
Well,
Nick
let's
Cage.
go. Let's go and get the Declaration of Independence. And I'll take your face off. And then catch on fire.
Ha-cha-cha.
It's
Oh.
me, Nick Cage.
And then we'll go and teabag the Magna Carta. That's high praise. My Nick Cage impression is a mixture of actual Nick Cage and Andy Samberg doing an impression of Nick Cage.
Yeah. It's a little out there.
Yeah,
But it works because it's Nick Cage.
Yeah.
does it though?
I actually want to see one of the movies that he just recently
The one with
did.
the aliens?
The Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
It's a adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft, one of my favorite H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
All right, bitches.
I'm wearing a fucking tie and Remington can't even put socks on.
Have I ever dressed up for our big episodes?
No.
I think the last
there you
time I
go.
was here, you at least had shoes on.
Maybe. That's probably because I was doing something.
You only masturbate with shoes on.
I do.
Touch Bucky with your toe.
No.
I already did. He
I
was
would
listening.
actually stab him with a key because I don't have a knife today.
That would be unfortunate.
Really?
Yeah.
Bucky the Knife Master is knifeless in a room.
Yeah.
That'll be the last mistake you ever make.
My one knife is in my other pants, in my work pants. So
Did you just
I
whip
can
out
get
a
it.
knife?
I can get him.
Finally.
even though you said you were going to kill me last time, I'm scared now.
You want a knife, Brandon? I've got extra ones.
Why did you go for your dick?
I've got something thin and sharp.
Here you go. Here you go, Bucky. Good luck.
I feel like I'll cut myself on this.
Yeah, probably.
Saves us the work.
Well, fuck you.
Because I tend to put it in my pocket, so
Oh.
I only...
Put it in your pocket.
In your motherfucking pocket. You can just eat me out.
What?
You never put it in my mouth? Put it in my mouth.
I don't think I have,
In my
no.
motherfucking mouth. All right. Before we start.
We're just getting some glorious outtakes. That's all this is right now.
This is going to be X-rated Dueling Ogres for sure.
After
Don't let the
dark.
bank you applied at hear you.
Didn't you?
Don't let Brazilian NASA.
How old is that song?
High school, at least.
I was going to say.
I used to throw it on every mixed CD I would ever
I was
make in
going to
high
say,
school.
wasn't this on the mix CD for our trip to Pittsburgh Comic Con?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I always learn about a new song whenever I'm here. The last time
I
was
still have that mixed CD somewhere.
what was the last one?
This is just for your education, Bucky.
I feel like education has heavy quotations around.
Yeah, it's very
that
loose.
sentence.
Very loose. Like that just
So the last time I was here, I was introduced to Scotty Doesn't Know, and now it's put it in my mouth.
Yep.
Scotty doesn't know that it's something.
That Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday.
You mean Lana Lang?
Or that.
Same actress.
Yep. I remember, Bucky.
Okay.
I remember.
I was just listening to that episode the other day, building offices.
There you go. Are you guys hiring?
That's always a loaded question.
He can weld like a motherfucker.
Yeah. I can TIG when my boss gets the
You're saying
equipment.
he can take it in our mouth?
Yeah. I can TIG it. Just get me a TIG torch. I'll TIG your dick shut.
Whoa. Also, I'm pretty sure that it would just melt.
Shut.
I don't think there'd be a dick left, because doesn't that burn at like 4,000 degrees?
Hotter than that, but
It would just turn into charcoal. There would be no remelding of the flesh back into
No.
if I hold it far enough back,
it. No.
It just
Yes.
it'd peel
That's not
back
how it
like a
works.
banana.
God.
Jesus.
Your 3 seconds are up. But
Fuck.
fortunately, 3 seconds can be put in editing. It'll give me time to clear my throat. Obnoxiously.
Right there.
Virus.
This is the weirdest wink I've ever been given.
How is it weird?
Because it's you. God damn it.
Are we all just winking at Bucky?
Oh no, I'm having a seizure.
I feel oddly aroused.
Seizures will do that to people.
Yeah.
Wait,
Tell
make
me
them
about it.
aroused?
We call that scaroused in the industry.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Well, you have to. I just thought of something hilarious. Trump gets hit with it and just becomes an earthbender and can build walls on demand.
Edit it out.
Well, you can.
That's gone. You're cut. It's cut. Cut him out.
Cut.
I feel like that would be funny, though. It was just a funny thought I had.
Marcia, cut him out. Marcia's our editor now.
Yeah. We hired her.
Yeah.
So we're
Within the
gonna
last
use
5 seconds?
Yeah, so we're gonna use the money that you have graciously contributed through
To
your
edit myself
Patreon
out.
to edit you out.
I'm paying you to edit me out, essentially.
Yes.
Sweet.
This became really meta all of a sudden.
Yup. It's like 16 walls have been broken. No, edit that one out too.
No, because it wasn't a Trump joke.
But it was still bad.
That's true.
Remington's fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
He was
looking to
falling
see
asleep listening to us to talk about how old Sheev got yoted down a shaft.
I was just seeing if there was anything else that might pop up that was really eye-catching to go out on, but
Did you know his actual name, Sheev Palpatine?
Yeah, I did.
I love that.
Sheev.
I'll sheave you.
I'll sheave your dick.
Oh.
Clean off.
wow. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it now.
This one's
Oh, yay.
sharper.
For him, he gets the sharper one.
Yeah.